What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Cris Style
Mo.
Podcast, episode 251, Big Energy Monday. Hope everybody's having a good Monday, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. Appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. We got a lot to speak on today. We got some NBA stuff to speak on. Playoffs are rolling right now, so we're going to talk about that. I got some WWE news to talk about from my end. Also, we're going to talk about some boxing news. Also, get into the NFL draft. We're going to give our recap on that and what we thought our winners and losers out of the draft and how we feel going forward. And we're going to do a little bit of mall random news since we didn't have a show Wednesday. We're going to have some mall random news too. So, and of course, our BetUs Surefire picks. So, before we do all that, Mo, how you feeling, sir?
Man, feeling really good. Really excited to see what my Raiders did over this weekend. Lakers up 3-1. So, I'm feeling good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Coming off the draft, everything's all good, man. Just ready for the season, man. Let's go ahead and fast forward to the season.
They'll be here before you know it.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's start with some NBA stuff, man. What you got for us?
Yeah, man. We'll actually start off with the WNBA, then we'll get into the NBA playoffs. WNBA, man, they kind of kicked off their exhibition preseason series over the weekend. On Saturday, we had the Fever playing the Liberty in the exhibition matchup in Brooklyn. Fever won 109 to 91. So Sophia Cunningham, she had 13 points. Kelsey Mitchell had 18, looking like she's been on a groove. Caitlin Clark had a rough game, 7 points. She was 2 for 10. New York Liberty, Breonna Stewart, she looked really good, 16 points. But Hanzu, the center, backup center, she had 20 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. 6'11" center for the New York Liberty. She looked really good. Liberty looked good as well. Kelsey Mitchell, we all know who the superstar of that team is. Sparks played Nigeria. They won 89-63. Kelsey Plum had a really good game with 22 points. Sky played the Mercury. Mercury won 104-108. Kalea Cooper had 19 points. Haley Van Lith had a really good game with 20 points. Lynx played the Mystics, 177-66. Lauren Betts had 13 points in her preseason debut. Storm, they lost 76-78 to the Valkyrie. Flage, she had 12 points, 4 rebounds in her initial preseason. And then on Sunday, man, our Aces, man, they played Japan, and they won 78-94. Asia Wilson did not sit. We all know she don't need to play. The GOAT don't need to play. But overall, man, Aces look good, man. Melissa Smith, she had 11 points, 13 rebounds, 3 blocks. Chelsea Gray, she had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Jewel Lloyd had 13 points. Jackie Young had 17, 3 and 4. But we all were kind of waiting to see what Chineta Carter looked like, and she had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Looked like she was running the offense, man. So what were your thoughts, man? I don't know if you got to see the highlights of the game or anything like that, man. What were your thoughts with the Aces yesterday?
I got a few thoughts. Melissa Smith looked like, man, she's in the groove right now, dog.
13 rebounds is amazing. I love to see that.
I was watching her, man. She looks like she looks like she understands. She understands her role in this offense, and then on the defensive side, she's comfortable. I expect big things from Melissa Smith. Kitty Carter is like a cherry on top, man. That's like
no doubt. She looked really good. She looked amazing.
But my story is you gonna give props to KB, dog. 14, dog. What you talking about, man?
Yeah, I skipped her. Look, she had 14 points, man. She looked really good. She had 14 points, 3 of 8 from the 3-point line, 3 ground rounds, 3 assists. Again, this was Team Japan. So I ain't gonna it was really good to see that. If she can give us this, then look, I will back up off the Kyle Kuzma talk. I will back up off the whole situation with her stealing roster spots and all that stuff like that. But we'll see. It's first game of the preseason. I like to see it. From what I see, I love what the Aces have without Asia Wilson. It could get scary. It could get scary, man.
I will say one thing.
Yes, sir.
That chick from Japan, Mei Yamamoto, she needs a roster spot somewhere.
Yeah, she does.
She was shooting from Steph Curry range, dog.
Yeah, she cooking. Yeah, she cooking.
She was shooting from Steph Curry range. I said, who is this?
Nah, she was cooking. She was cooking. Nah, man, the Aces look good, man. Did you have any other thoughts on any other games that you saw? Like,
I saw Raven out there locking shit
yeah,
down,
Raven look
putting
good.
that
Raven look good.
defense on these females. They
Mm-hmm.
ain't ready. They ain't
Mm-hmm.
ready. Who else? I saw that Cara, I think her name was Cara Dunn chick. She had a pretty good solid showing. Lauren Betts had a pretty good showing herself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man. I'm excited for the season, dog. I'm excited for the season. I'm ready for real basketball for the WNBA to get rolling.
Nah, yeah, them ladies are gonna go at it. So I over under first week. I got at least 3 fights happening for over under on that. All
Yeah,
right, man.
somebody kicked somebody who was that on the Ace that got kicked in the head yesterday on the ground?
I think it was Jewel Lloyd, but it looked like an honest accident. It looked like the Japan player wasn't looking. But if that was like Caitlin Clark and the Fever, oh yeah, fisticuffs is popping. It's popping. All right, man. Let's get into the NBA, man. Playoffs is still rolling. On Thursday, Knicks played the Hawks. They lost 108 to 109. Cavaliers and Raptors 104 to 126, and then the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Nuggets lost 96 to 113. On Friday, the Lakers won in a great game, went into overtime. LeBron James hit a shot that got them over to overtime. They were down by 6 with 30 seconds left. They ended up winning 112 to 108. Celtics won 108 to 100. Spurs won 120 to 108 without Victor Wembanyama. And then let's get more into the storylines. The Detroit Pistons on Saturday, they lost 105 to 113. Paulo Banchero had a great game. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. Big game tonight. Pistons are down 2-1. Obviously, we know this is a must-win series for the Detroit Pistons, but who do you need to see amongst the Detroit Pistons to ball out for them to be back in this series and have confidence in them moving forward?
What is that? Sure ain't Cade Cunningham. What's the other dude that you always talking about?
Oh, Jalen Duren. Yeah.
He got to step it up. And everybody else on the squad. Cade can't do it by himself, man. Yeah. He can't. You know what I'm saying? Dude, what happened? Y'all was balling in the regular season, and then you get into the playoffs, and now you done forgot yourselves. What's up, man? The pressure too hot for y'all in the playoffs? Like, y'all got to pick it up?
Yeah. This ain't a Cade problem. This is a Jalen Duren problem, and a toughness problem. So, shout out to the Magic, though. They've been hoping, man. This is the team.
Hey, man, I got to give them props because, ever since the play-in, they woke up. Yeah. They woke up for sure.
Yeah, nah, for sure. So huge game. I think that game's at 4:00. I definitely will be tuned in to watch that. I can't wait to watch that. See how the Detroit Pistons respond. The next up, the Thunder dominated Suns again, 121 to 109. Derek Brooks had a great game for the Suns. He had 33.7 rebounds, but superstar Shai Gilgeous had 42 and 8. What's your thoughts with the Thunder, man? Do you have them as the bona fide favorites to win the whole thing? And is Shai clearly the best player in the league currently right now?
Yes, he is. Now, do I have them? I did pick the Spurs to win the championship, so I can't go back on my word. But they should be the favorite. They are the returning champions, and they look like it. They look like a well-oiled machine. Nobody's beating them, dog. I don't know. Outside the Spurs, because Spurs gave them problems in the regular season. Now we got to see how I look at the playoffs. But yeah, man, Thunder are they're the irremovable object and the unstoppable force. they're both.
No, they really are, and they don't even have Jalen Williams. He's out with a hamstring injury. He's going to be week to week. I would assume he probably won't be back until maybe end of the second round, maybe conference championship, depending to see if hopefully my Lakers can make it to the next round and we don't blow a 3-0 lead. I'm still gonna give us a little shot. I'll give us like a 10% shot, maybe to surprise some people in that series. But it all depends if we can get Luka back and AR back. If we can't get them, then I won't be surprised if we got swept. Next up, man, the Knicks bounced back after that dramatic loss, having them down 2-1. They ended up dominating the Hawks 114 to 98. Karl-Anthony Towns looked amazing. He had 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. What's your overall thoughts with the Knicks, man? Do you have the confidence with the Knicks after this dominating win against the Hawks? And second question is, do you think Karl-Anthony Towns should be the number one offensive player on this team over Jalen Brunson?
The first question, I think they should win this series. I think they're the better team than the Hawks. Even though the Hawks got some good players, I think they're the better team. That's just
Mm,
my opinion. I could be
mm,
wrong, but I think that's my opinion. Now,
okay.
as far as the offense goes, I'm not mad if you say the offense should run through Towns, but when it comes to clutch situations, it should go through Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like you run the offense through Towns because he's just a nightmare matchup. But when it's time for like fourth quarter and it's like crucial points, you run it through Jalen Brunson.
Nah, I totally agree with you. I think throughout the most majority of the game, I think Jalen Brunson should save his legs,
Mm-hmm.
um, and kind of just kind of like pace himself a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you have Karl Anthony Towns there, you have OG Anunoby there, you have scorers on that team. You know, what I mean, even Mikal Bridges. I know he's been struggling, but he can score. And yeah, I think Karl Anthony Towns should be the main focal point of this team, quarters 1 through 3. But when it comes in the fourth quarter and you need some key shots, I think Jalen Brunson should be there. And if you were able to do that, I think Jalen Brunson will have more legs underneath him. You know what I mean? The only thing that makes me nervous about Jalen Brunson, he always twists his ankle like 2 or 3 times a game. You know what I mean? Like he does that consistently. But I agree with you. I think the Knicks will win this series. I got them winning in 6. I just think that it was a true wake up call losing in Game 3. And I think they might have found a formula that will go well with the Knicks, and they need to hurry up and win this series because they got a big series next up if they do get past the Hawks against the Boston Celtics. And we'll talk about them here in a little bit. And next up, the last game on Saturday, the Nuggets, man, very disappointing. Lost 96-112. Even with Timberwolves, man, they had some devastating injuries. Anthony Edwards, he hyperextended his knee. He's going to be out for the next couple weeks. And then Dante DiVincenzo, first couple seconds in the game, he ended up blowing his Achilles. It was tough. It was a tough watch with that, man. So prayers out to both of those guys. Hopefully speedy recoveries for both of them. We definitely need Anthony Edwards back. But what does this say? Obviously, conversations has been brewing with Nikola Jokic, man. A lot of people seem like they've been jumping off the ship, talking about his defense. Obviously people have always stated that Nikola Jokic was the best player in the league. What does it say about the Nuggets if they end up losing this series, if the Timberwolves do not have Anthony Edwards and Dante and DiVincenzo?
Um, that is a big letdown, and that they need to have some internal talks. You know what I'm saying? Going forward, what the next iteration of the Nuggets are going to look like. Do you try to get something for Nikola Jokic and maybe go forward somewhere other way? I mean, I know that sounds crazy because he's still one of the better players in this league.
Yeah,
I know his questions about his defense, but you don't pay Nikola Jokic to play defense. You pay him to score points.
right, absolutely,
You can put players around him that can play defense and take the
right.
pressure off him. So,
Mm,
and let's just be real. Probably like 85% of the league don't play defense. So,
yeah,
so, um, so I don't know. I mean, I think they're still a really good team, and they're still one of the top teams in the league. But it would be disappointing if they don't have Anthony Edwards and they lost DiVincenzo to a season-ending injury, and you don't win this series. I mean, yeah, there's got to be some internal talks and see what do we need to do. Do we need to change the coach? I know they just got rid of the coach a year before, but
mm,
do we need to look at the coach? Do we need to look at something else? Do we need to add something? Like
yeah.
they need to have some internal talks for sure.
No, I agree. I just think, look, Nikola Jokic is a hell of a player, but I've always stated that I think he's in an era where there's not a lot of great centers in this league. I can only imagine what he would have looked like going up against like the Tim Duncans, David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal's, Hakeem Olajuwon's, Patrick Ewing's, in those areas where there was a lot more elite centers.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very curious to see how Nikola Jokic would look. I think he would still be an offensive genius, but as far as like the pecking order, I think it would be kind of interesting. Look, the Nuggets have made some questionable moves. Obviously, they got rid of Michael Porter Jr. We saw what Michael Porter Jr. was with the Nets and the kind of numbers he put up. You replaced him with Cameron Johnson, and Cam Johnson, like I like his game, but he does have moments where he disappears. He only had 9 points. Jamal Murray, he had a hell of a game. Christian Braun, he got that big contract. He hasn't shown up as of late. I mean, they have been dealing with injuries and stuff like that. But I will say this, man, I gotta give love to the Minnesota Timberwolves, man. Ayu Dosunmu, he had 43 points on that night and totally dominated. He picked it up. Jaden McDaniels, he picked it up. Julius Randle. We got to shout out to Rudy Gobert, man. He had 15 rebounds, but he's been giving Nikola Jokic hell. hell.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to
And,
get
that, and
shot him out.
that's what you pay Rudy Gobert to do.
Yeah, that's what you pay him. This is the defensive performance that you need to see. Like, I know people see 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists and think like, what did Rudy Gobert do? But if you really watch the game, he's exhausting Nikola Jokic. He's putting him through a situation where he's exerting a lot of energy trying to get those 24 points and 15 rebounds and 9 assists. And when it comes down to the end of the game, we just see that Nikola Jokic doesn't have legs. He needs more help. But I'll say this, man, the Nuggets should win tonight. They should win tonight at home, especially without Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo. But if the Timberwolves do win this game, I think there's got to be a lot of conversations surrounding the Nuggets for sure about their future. And Nikola Jokic, he needs to answer if he's going to sign that contract this summer too. If he don't, watch out for that. All right, next up on Sunday yesterday, man, the Cavaliers, man, they lost to the Raptors 89-93. Scotty Barnes had a great game, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. James Harden had 19 points and 8 assists. Series is tied 2-2, man. What's your level of concern with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and do you think they could possibly get bounced out this first round?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, I think the Raptors are better than what people give credit for. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're definitely capable of taking out the Cleveland Cavaliers. I still think the Cavs should win this series, but yeah, I think they definitely could get bounced in the first. I wouldn't be surprised if they got bounced in the first round.
Look, this has always been my concern with the Cavaliers. You got two guys, and Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, who are great players who have absolutely have folded in the playoffs. And this is a combination where you're putting a lot of faith in these two gentlemen to take this Cavaliers team over the hump when they have never proven to do so. So I don't know why people always had high hopes with this team, but I don't know, man. I think the Cavs should still win this series, but I don't have any confidence of them getting past the second round at all. So that's just my thought. Next up, man, the Boston Celtics totally dominated the 76ers, even with Joel Embiid coming back. And Joel Embiid looked really good. He had 26 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, but everybody else around him really didn't have a great game besides maybe Tyrese Maxey. He had 22 points. But the Boston Celtics looked amazing. Peyton Pritchard, he looked good. Jason Tatum, God, what can you say, man? Coming back from Achilles injury, he had 30.7 rebounds, 11 assists, man. Where do you have the Celtics on the totem pole throughout the entire NBA? As are they right behind the Thunder and Spurs? Are they in between? Are they right there with the Thunder? Where do you have the Celtics as far as like being able to compete for a championship?
I would say they're right there with the Spurs because I still think the Thunder. You got to put the Thunder at top because they won it and they've already done it. We got to still see the Spurs do it, even though the Spurs gave them trouble in the regular season. We still got to see them do it when the lights are the brightest, and that's in the playoffs and the championship. Right. So, and you could honestly maybe even say Boston is ahead of them because Boston did it before.
Yeah, they have experience for sure.
They have experience too, so you might put them. So it might be Thunder, Boston, then the Spurs. So I think that's how the pecking order probably should go.
I agree with you. I think the Boston Celtics have been the clear best team in the East so far, and I hate to say that, but with Jason Tatum looking like MVP, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously we all know that he should definitely be in MVP talks for sure. This team has looked amazing, surprisingly, with all the role players. They have a lot of 3-point shooting. We all know this team is just 3-point or bust, but they've been consistent with it. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Celtics, man. Shout out to Joel Embiid, man, for coming back, and he put up a great spot. But 76ers, I just don't think they have enough, and obviously there's got to be a lot of conversation around that team as well. Next up, man, the San Antonio Spurs, man, they got Victor Wembanyama back. Looked like dominant fashion, win 114-93. Got a strong lead 3-1 in this series, heading back to San Antonio tomorrow night. Victor Wembanyama had 27 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Denny Avia, he had 26.7 rebounds. Kept it close, but and that's third quarter, man. They let it slip, man. They were up by as much as 14, 15 points. And then I think the Spurs went on like an 18-0 run or something like that. Went in the quarter 33-16, then went in the fourth quarter 40-19. And you just see the separation there, man. What's your thought with Spurs, man, with them getting Victor Wembanyama back? Are we kind of heading towards like a Thunder Spurs Western Conference championship?
I would say so. I think so. I think that's where we're pretty much headed. Especially, even if the Nuggets do win or, your Lakers, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens if Luka can come back and Austin Reeves. And if we can give the Thunder a series, I think y'all have a better chance of giving the Thunder a series than, the Nuggets or the Wolves giving the
Right.
Spurs a series. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Nah.
Spurs should be shooing to win that and get to the Western Conference Finals. So,
Mhm.
um, I'm pretty, I'm confident to say that we are headed more than likely to get that.
Are you getting more confidence with the younger guys with them being able to maybe potentially make a title run?
Who, the Spurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I like what I'm seeing from these guys. They're coming through. Darian Fox, um, Castle. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Wimbiana, all those boys over there.
Mm.
They're looking real good over there. So yeah, for sure.
Nah, yeah, I agree. I agree. San Antonio Spurs, man, with Victor Wembanyama again, he's a freak, man. He's an outlier in the whole entire league. So if anybody can do it, I think Victor Wembanyama can. But it will obviously get a lot tougher as this playoffs going on. And last but not least, man, my Lakers, man, look to close out the Houston Rockets without Kevin Durant. But unfortunately, man, you could kind of tell, man, they all their legs weren't underneath them in that game, especially coming off that game 3 comeback win. Rockets, man, they dominated. They looked really good for what they have. Alperen Sengun, he had 19 points. Amin Thompson had his best game with 23 points. Jabari Smith had 16. Reece Shepard had 17. This is the best they've looked all probably the last couple weeks, honestly, with the Houston Rockets. But overall, man, what's your confidence level in this series, man? Do you still think the Lakers win this series, or do you think there could be trouble on the horizon?
Man, if y'all don't get this team the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. I kind of counted that we weren't going to win yesterday. I kind of saw it within that first quarter. I was like, yeah, we ain't got it this week. But
LeBron was tired, man.
I think Bron was tired. I think it gave Austin Reeves another day. I think he probably could have played, but they were like, we're up 3-0. It's not like it's a necessity. I think Austin Reeves will come back in game 5. I think he'll give it a go. I think I could see him maybe on a minutes restriction or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a situation where the Lakers have been flowing really well on the offensive side, especially the starting lineup, that maybe Austin Reeves comes off the bench to try to, maybe ease him in a little bit better and not trying to just brush him out there type of situation. I could see a situation like that. And you get that kind of burst off the bench. I think it only helps. So I think we close it out in game 5. Give us a couple days rest, because obviously I truly believe that the Thunder are going to close out today. And then tonight we got the Pistons Magic, we have the Thunder Suns, and then obviously the nightcap we have the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets. So that's the NBA and WNBA news, man. It's getting really exciting in both leagues, man. And man, shout to all the teams, man.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about this real quick. The WWE on last Friday, they did their annual where they releases where they'll lay off, a particular group of wrestlers from the company. They'll move up some to a certain position from NXT up to the main roster. Um, but unfortunately, we hate this time of year because these are men and women losing their jobs. I'm sure most of them will land on their feet in other promotions, but still, it just sucks, losing your job like that. You know what I'm saying? And it gets public out there. It gets a little. I mean, I can only imagine that being a little embarrassing. But the main ones, I would say, not to say that none of these people matter, but the main ones that got released is Kara Sane. She was with Asuka. She was already in the storyline with Io Sky, Asuka, and her, and they never finished the storyline with Kara Sane finally turning on Asuka, or not turning, but finally building up the courage to fight back Asuka and going off on her own. Maybe we get a triple threat match with those three, and they never really, finished that, and it just out of nowhere they just released her. I know they said she's back in Japan now, so she'll probably go back to Stardom or something like that to wrestle. Maybe she ends up at AEW, which I kind of hope she does. But yeah, man, it's really unfortunate. The Motor City Machine Guns, who if you're a wrestling fan, the Motor City Machine Guns are legend tag team in this business, especially dating back to TNA. They were big time in that. They finally get their WWE run, and they even won the belts for a little bit. But ever since they lost the belts, they kind of been like non-existent, not really, kind of buried. That's what WWE kind of does with their tag team division. They kind of bury it. Right now, it's kind of thriving with R-Truth and Damian Priest, but outside of that, it's like they can't book tag teams to save their lives. But I'm sure the Motor City Machine Guns would land there. They'll probably end up back in TNA, or maybe they'll end up on AEW or something like that. Aleister Black and Zelina, they were looking like they were about to get a little bit of a push, and then they got released. And I don't know where Aleister Black and Zelina will end up, because they're a couple. But I could see them. They'll land on their feet. I could see them. Also, another pairing they could probably end up on TNA or something like that. So Santos Escobar was an interesting thing, because he got released and then they wanted to bring him back. Well, they brought him back. You know what I'm saying? They even like kind of paid him a little bit to come back. He was supposed to do some work in AAA, because WWE owns AAA. That's the Mexican wrestling company that they got. And he was doing some work over there. Thought he was going to finally come to the main roster and do some work. And I think Santos Escobar is a hell of a wrestler. He could talk on the mic. He's got all the characteristics to be a superstar in the promotion. It was just they never really gave him a push. And maybe he's another candidate of going to TNA. Like a lot of these people that got released that are top, I feel like are top stars, they can definitely go to TNA and be stars, shot to the top, and be title contenders and whatever. Even on AEW, they can get a spot on there too. But it's just unfortunate to see these people get fired. Apollo Crews, he kind of got buried. It was just kind of like whatever. Tyra May Steele, she was the one who won that LFG series that they got, where they got these wrestlers and they kind of like got coaches and they're trying to build these people up, and the winner gets a contract. They go through the ranks of Evolve or NXT, or and she was the winner. And then she got released. And the thing about her is that she's an Olympic gold medalist. She was an amateur wrestler. And those amateur wrestlers, the transition from becoming an amateur wrestler to a professional wrestler is always a hard thing. There's only very few have done it. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, the Steiner brothers, like those are, the kind of the few that have like made that transition and become superstars. It's kind of hard to make that transition. So, Zoe Starks was another one that got let go. She had got hurt and then she never came back. And then the rest of them are more so like people that were in development, what I'm saying? They really never got, that push. So, but, shout out to those men and women, what I'm saying? Hopefully they land on their feet. I know a lot of people are putting that hashtag out there, bring back Kara Sane, because like I said, she's one of the better women wrestlers in the world. And she was starting to get some more traction and get going. And then all of a sudden they just release her like that. It was just kind of, weird. So, but shout out to those for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're going to go a quick commercial break and we'll be back.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors, because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement, whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Shout out to Magnet Sports Drink. All right, man. Let's talk a little boxing news, man, because we're getting some news today and yesterday. We all know that The Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu fight got announced to July 26th. It will be happening in Australia. So Spence will be going overseas to fight Tim Tszyu. This is a big return fight for him. Me and Maul have talked about this before when the fight first initially got announced, but it's been made official that July 26th in Australia that he will be fighting Tim Tszyu to make his major comeback. So, how you feeling about that, sir?
That's very interesting. You know what I mean? I thought he would have had the home field advantage with it being in Texas. I still think Errol Spence is a bigger name than Tim Tszyu, no matter him coming off the loss. But I actually love this move, man. It just kind of shows that I think Errol Spence is in the right frame of mind. I think he kind of wants to show that he doesn't need any kind of safety pillows or safety nets for him coming back. I think he's ready to get back in the jungle. I think he's ready to get back in the ring. I think he's ready to show people that he is still the Errol Spence before the whole Terrence Crawford boxing fight. So I'm truly excited, man. This is one of my more anticipated fights because I'm just very curious to see how Errol Spence kind of responds with the layoff and the mentally of him being back in there. But from what I've seen, man, I think we're going to get an excellent showing of Errol Spence and a dominant performance of Errol Spence. I think we're going to get a highly motivated Errol Spence, and I can't wait to see that. I'll be rooting for that brother really, really hard.
Yeah, I agree. I'm definitely rooting for Errol Spence. I want to see him make the comeback and possibly be one of the top guys in the 154 range for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And it also has been announced that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is official for the fourth quarter of this year. They will be fighting. He does have a tune-up fight July 25th against Christian Pringa in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. July 25th is part of the Esports World Cup thing. So how you feeling, man? How you feeling about this fight being announced, and how do you feel about Joshua, in his tune-up fight?
Joshua, do not mess this up, dog. Make sure you come ready in that tune-up fight. Make sure you come like you mean business. I need to see you knock this cat out, because I think this is the fight that a lot of fans have been kind of waiting for, especially overseas. This is the big English fight that people have been clamoring for I'll say 4 years, maybe 5, you know what I mean? So I just want Anthony Joshua. Number one, I'm happy to see him back in the ring, especially with everything going on. I'm glad he's mentally ready for that. Like that post fight interview that he had after the Fury fight. I was a little bit skeptic, maybe my man isn't mentally ready. Maybe he still needs some months to kind of get over the situation, the very traumatic situation that happened in his life, which would be very understandable. I wasn't putting pressure on him to have this fight this year. I would have totally understand if this fight didn't happen until next year. But at the end of the day, I'm super excited. I just want to make sure he comes in correct for that tune-up fight, because I don't need him to look bad. I don't need him to lose. I don't need this to be a draw or a decision. Make this an example of what you think you're going to do to Fury. It will build up the hype. It will build up the anticipation for it, which wouldn't hurt. But overall, man, I'm super excited that he's getting back in the ring. I'm super excited that we officially got this Tyson Fury matchup. I love that it's going to be on Netflix and stuff like that. I love it all. And let's get it going, man. We're getting big fights announced, man, for this year, and it's looking very, very promising for boxing. And this is just one to add to that list.
And then also we'll give our predictions on Wednesday, but also this week we got the Nakatani and Inoue fight. We also got Benavidez and Zordo fight. What's your initial thoughts going into this week on both fights?
2 excellent fights. I just got to mentally see if I'm going to get up early to try to catch this Japan fight. Obviously, I got to wake up early that Saturday, so I might just wake up a little bit early to catch it. I think the ring walk is going to be, 6 a.m. or something like that. I could be wrong, 5 or 6 a.m. or something like that. So I might potentially wake up early, because I know a lot of people think Inoue is going to dominate Nakatani, but I think Nakatani is going to be ready. I think with that last fight, I think maybe he kind of overlooked it. I still have Inoue being the favorite, and but I'll let you know if I pick Nakatani. But overall, I think it's going to be an exciting fight. I think Benavidez and him moving up to cruiserweight, I think it's going to be very, very interesting to tell. We all kind of know the moves with Benavidez. I think it's going to be a very, very tough fight. But I think we got 2 excellent fights. I think we got 2 excellent cards, and this is going to be a big moment for boxing. And hopefully people tune in, man, because it's going to get live. It's going to get live for sure.
Yeah, of course, the Nakatani and Inoue fight will be interesting. Nakatani has an opportunity to put himself on the map for sure. If he can get a dub over Inoue, Inoue is known as the monster. So we're gonna see. We've seen Inoue; he's gotten put down a few times. So, but he's gotten back up, and he fought on his sword, and he looked better after getting knocked down. So
He do. Yeah, he do.
so we'll see how he looked going into this fight. I think he's primed and ready. As far as Benavidez and Zordo, um, this is gonna be a great fight, man. I think people, a lot of people don't know who Zordo is, but I watched a couple of his fights. Dude can box. Dude is a real boxer. This ain't no slouch.
He's a champion for a reason. So you know what I mean.
This dude ain't no slouch, man. This ain't no layup for Benavidez to get a dub. Like this dude is bigger. First of all, bigger than Benavidez, as far as size wise. So this ain't gonna be something where he can just bully and push around somebody. No, Zordo's gonna be right there with him, and dude can box. This ain't some brawler like that just got no skills. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Benavidez, fights in this fight for sure. But we'll give our predictions on this. But I did want to get your thoughts. They was talking to Bam Rodriguez about his future in boxing. I just want to get your opinion on this clip.
After I beat Sonny Edwards, I think I became number 10. And then ever since then, I just kept moving my way up. So now being number 4, I feel like it's bragging rights, but at the same time, it's also a lot of pressure that people are expecting, great performances from you. But I mean, that's what I do every time I step inside the ring. So at the same time, it's not really any pressure. I just go out there and do what I do and work my way up. By the time the fight happens between me and Inoue, I think Inoue will be number 1. I'll be number 2 or number 3. So for that fight to happen, top 3 pound for pound, I think winning that fight will put me at number 1 for sure.
What's your thoughts on what he just said?
I love the honest assessment. You know what I mean? I think boxers who are very understanding of the moment, understanding of the pressure, understanding of the expectations, like they don't try to run away from that. I think it's very a breath of fresh air, because you get a lot of people who kind of run away from that question. But I honestly agree. I think at the end of the day, I think if Inoue has a great performance against Nakatani, I think a lot of people could potentially push him up, especially with what's my man's name who hasn't fought in a little bit. What's his name? I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. He beat a heavyweight. He number 1 now. He's number 1 now.
Usyk?
Yeah, Usyk. Yeah, I could potentially see Inoue jumping Usyk, especially with Usyk not having boxing a minute, and even his next boxing fight is more of like an exhibition in a sense. So if Inoue, and then you give it, I would assume if this fight were to happen, it will probably happen next year sometime. And I agree with Bam. I think if Inoue's in that spot, he's number 1, he's number 3, and he wins that fight, I can definitely see him jumping to number 1. I wouldn't be mad at that situation. I think Bam has earned the right, and I think we've all earned the right to see this fight if Inoue is able to give over the hump. And then I'm not sure if Bam has a fight coming up or anything like that.
I think he does.
I'm not familiar with his schedule. I'm assuming he does, but I'm not familiar with his schedule. But he gets over that hump, and we can get this fight next year. I'll be curious to see where they have this fight at. Like, would this be a Japan fight? Would this be a situation where Inoue and the bookmakers try to get him over here in the States? Because I feel like that would be a bigger thing for him, because I've always been a big proponent that I think Inoue could be like the next Manny Pacquiao in the sense of stardom, just based on who he is. You know what I mean? He has a lot of similarities to Manny Pacquiao with the power, the speed, the exciting fights. Like, Inoue doesn't have any boring fights, just like Manny Pacquiao. I think it's time for him to move away from Japan. No disrespect to Japan. I get it. You're in your comfort zone. But if you want to be a bigger star, like, it's time for you to start having these fights over here in the States, no matter where it is, Las Vegas, LA, New York, Dallas, wherever the case may be, Miami, wherever the case may be. I think Inoue needs to become a bigger star. I think Inoue deserves to become a bigger star. And I think Bam deserves to have that moment in the sun where he can have that opportunity to take the crown. I think it's just two big trains coming towards each other, and that's kind of the path that we're heading. But it'll be very curious to see how I do. But I totally agree with him. He has the opportunity to become pound for pound the best if he can get over the monster for sure.
I could see a pathway where he could be number one pound for pound. The interesting thing here's the thing about Inoue is that he's still not a national star. He's still kind of like the boogeyman in weight. Like boxing fans know about Inoue,
Mhm.
but I don't think he's that national darling yet. To where I think he could be if he like fought, like you just said, like if he fought more in the states and was knocking fools out. I think people would be like, oh, Inoue, and he'd be a national star. And then if Ben Rodriguez would have beat him, then it'd be like, all right,
Yeah.
dude's number one. But I don't know if the consensus is because, and I know he's still up there, pound for pound because he deserves to be up there. But it's just nationally wise. I don't know if people know who Inoue is, but I still want to see the fight. Don't get it twisted. And if him and Bam get it on, they'll definitely be in the top one or two in that spot. But it just will be interesting because I still don't feel Inoue has made that super. I think Bam is more of a household name than Inoue is right now.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you. I just think that again, it comes back down to, as I said, like it comes back down to the promoters and how they start getting Inoue out. Like you can only have so many fights in Japan, and it's like again, it's no disrespect to Japan, but if you want this guy to be the true world superstar that he needs to be in, he needs to go to the States. He needs to fight. Like when he had the fight over here at T-Mobile, the one fight, it garnered a lot of attention. People, I was at a sports bar watching the fight, and people gravitated toward that fight once it got put on the TV, and people couldn't stop watching it. You know what I mean? Because of just how exciting his fights are, and then the intensity and the power that you can feel through that screen from Inoue. Like I don't think it would take much at all. Like I think
he can have a Pacquiao type.
Absolutely. I think it takes one fight. And what if that fight is Bam Rodriguez? You know what I mean? I don't know. I would assume that like me personally, I want that Bam fight to be in the States. Now that could be a selfish thing, but I think it's a more logistics things with just boxing, and you want to create superstars. I don't think you can create a superstar in Japan. It's just too hard for people to try to wake up early in the morning when people got jobs, families to try watch a fight, and it's just not gonna feel like a spectacle. Like this Nakatani Inoue fight is gonna be. If you're in Japan, I'm sure the energy is live for that fight. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's insane. But if it was an opportunity where both of these guys were more American household names, this could be a super mega fight in the States. You know what I mean? It could potentially be that. And Bam and Inoue have the potential to be that way. There's so many fights Inoue still has ahead of him that he could still be superstar status. You know what I mean? Whether it's Juju, like, you know what I mean? You got Bam potentially moving up, all that type of situations. Like there's so many lanes. I just think that I agree with you in the sense that I agree with you. He still needs to become more of a household name. I just don't think it's going to take that long. And if everything goes in the right place and Bam wins that fight, I think he can be number one. I'm not saying you're not saying that can't happen, but there has to be things that has to go the right way for that potential to happen. But I could see a path. You know?
Yeah, I do see the path. It's just like, for example, if David Benavidez does beat Zordo, now
in dominant fashion,
now we're talking something different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we all know if that happens, talks of Usyk and him are going to start revving up. You know what I mean? And then I think Benavidez will get I think he has to. If he can get through this, he'll get the big mega fight that he always wants. And it's not going to be with Canelo.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think Usyk will be next. I think it'll be that other kid from the cruiserweights. Job Apeo dude. I think that would be the next fight for Benavidez. If he beats Zordo, I think they're gonna want to unify the belts with the J.
No. I'm not saying it's gonna be the next fight. I'm just saying conversations of Usyk and Benavidez are gonna get a lot louder. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's gonna be next. Like a Usyk Benavidez fight.
I already put the theory out there that sometime next year we can.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it'll be next, but I could see maybe like next fall, maybe end of next summer. Like it could be the mega fight that starts the summer. It could be the mega fight that starts fall. You know what I mean? It could be that mega fight that starts like Cinco de Mayo weekend. Like that could be a Cinco de Mayo fight out here in Las Vegas. And my God, do you know how big of a fight that would be out here in Las Vegas, Nevada? Like that would be heavyweights. Benavidez, we all know he's a household name. Usyk, he's a household name. You put them at T-Mobile, maybe potentially Allegiant if it becomes even huger than what people are like. Sky's the limit for that fight. You know what I mean? And I think that's the main fight people are kind of going forward. And then you could even potentially maybe get a Benavidez, Anthony Joshua, Benavidez Fury, Benavidez Usyk. You'll have those combinations, and I think it'll be great for the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And even if Benavidez lose, he still got options. He still can get him in B-ball, and people will still watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Like he's the one that's moving up. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, I think it's more pressure on Zordo than it is Benavidez.
Let me ask you a question, because I did see that Canelo's people say they stand at super middleweight. But if Benavidez were to lose in a way that was like, do you think Canelo would be like, all right?
No. Canelo's not stepping nowhere near Benavidez, because even if he does lose the fight, it'll be a different scenario with Canelo. Canelo, I think if it was a younger Canelo, we have better chances. But with the Canelo now and him being so stationary, it'll be an easy picking for Benavidez. That wouldn't even be a close fight. And I think just especially the embarrassment that he got off of Terrence Crawford, what do you think Benavidez is going to do to you, dog? Benavidez is like a bigger Terrence Crawford in a sense, man, with just kind of his movement, the way he boxes. Like, Canelo don't want those problems. Like, if he wanted those problems, he would have fought him before Benavidez had more experience moving up in weight.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it's possible?
I think it's like a 1% chance.
I don't even know who Canelo fighting next, man. Who Canelo even fighting next? Have they even hinted at anybody yet?
I think he fights the Saudi Arabian dude. What's his name? Aziz, whatever his name is. I think he has a fight coming up, but I think after that fight,
they'll announce it. I just think Canelo gonna take some fights that just gets him through this contract, and he's just gonna retire. I don't think he's gonna take any more risk. You know what I mean? I think the only risk he would take is Terrence Crawford, but that fight ain't. Terrence Crawford has no inching or no appetite for that fight.
My man, he chilling with his kids, man.
Yeah, like I think Crawford is totally satisfied with retirement, bro. It'll have to be something mega for him to even consider it.
I don't know. I don't
know of a fight. I don't know of a fight. I think it would be too long before Boost becomes any kind of a proponent where it could be a mega fight. Could you possibly see maybe Errol Spence, maybe just out of respect, maybe if Errol bounces back, but I don't see that either. I don't see Canelo. I just don't see anybody, man. I don't see him moving up even more. So I think Crawford gonna retire who it is. Maybe if Floyd Mayweather got real serious, maybe he might think about that in a situation just because of the magnitude of just having them and the undefeated records and stuff like that. Like, let's say if Floyd Mayweather actually goes through with this Pacquiao fight and he looks dominant, maybe that could be a conversation.
They already signed out. They said they announced that. That's happening.
Yeah, but is it like, we know Mayweather was talking about, this is an exhibition.
No, they said it's official.
Oh, okay. All right, for sure. Well, maybe that could be one. You know what I mean? Because we all know that would sell, and Mayweather needs, respectfully, we all know his situation right now. If you're not well, but maybe Mayweather might be, Crawford might be intrigued with that. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I doubt it, but it's a thought. It's a thought. I think he's retired.
I don't want to see it.
Nah, I don't want to see it either. But money talks, bro. Money talks, bro. You can get another 100 M's. Why not take that easy check? You know what I'm saying? Not saying Mayweather's easy, but
yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's do our BetUs Surefire picks.
Let's do it.
What you got?
Yeah, man. Obviously, we got the 3 NBA games today. So I got the Thunder -10.5 against the Suns. I think they're easily going to close out this series and dominate that game. I got the Timberwolves +11. I do think the Nuggets will probably win this game, but I could definitely see the Timberwolves covering. It will be at home for the Denver Nuggets, but I could see them. They just match up pretty well. And then I got the Pistons -3 against the Magic. They need to win this game. So I'm gonna go all in with the Pistons and having them winning and covering the points.
Yeah, I got the Thunder -11. I got the Timberwolves +11. And I'm taking the Magic on the money line, man. Until I can see it from them other players.
I'm not mad. I'm going with desperateness.
I hear you.
I'm going with desperateness.
I can see that, but
yeah,
I'm going with the Magic. I think they're riding momentum right now.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. And they're at home too. So
So If you go to any of our social media platforms, you'll see the BetUs link. First time users on, you go ahead, click on it, sign up, put the promo code JOIN125. You get 125% sign up bonus plus 10% gamblers insurance. That's 3 risk-free bets on $100 up to $5,000. So that means on your first 3 deposits, if you bet $100 and you lose, you keep your money. So you can win some money or go over there or you keep your money on your first 3 deposits. So go sign up. Tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our BetUs Surefire picks. And now it is time for Mal's Random News. It is now time for Mal's Random News.
All right, everybody. You know what I mean? Usually we do this on Wednesdays, but since we didn't have it, we're going to split it up in half. You know what I mean? As far as like with the news that I've gathered here, we all know it's a lot of topics that don't make it to the main docket, but they make it on Random News. We also love to hear Chris's opinions about said topics. So, sir, are you ready for Monday's edition of Random News, sir?
Let's get it.
All right, I'll start it off here. There have been conversations with Nike's reign in basketball. A lot of stock has been going down with the company. There have been conversations that it's due to the popularity with NBA players that this is the cause of that situation. What are your thoughts with that? Do you agree or disagree that the popularity of NBA players has gone down and that is one of the main causes that Nike stocks and have gone down as well?
No, I think it has more so to do that there's no good, really new good shoe. You know who got the best shoes right now? Women.
Yeah.
The WNBA stars are killing these dudes.
They are.
In the shoe game. Like I saw some Angel Reese's the other day that had me like, I'd wear those.
But you know why? They are killing? Because they all are modeled off of the Kobe's, and Kobe's are still the most popular. Like the Sabrinas look like Kobe's, the Asians look like Kobe's, even though those are amazing shoes. But let's be honest.
But no, I don't think it has. I mean, I guess a little bit to it because yes, the Jordans are still people still buy Jordans, but I also think it's prices too. Like it's hard to get these shoes still.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like of course, and people like nostalgia shoes now. Like now you don't got Air Maxes and foam posits and Jordans. It's like that's your market in Nike nowadays. And the Kobe's, I guess, like outside of that, you know, respectfully, I don't hear nobody saying I want some new LeBrons.
Yeah.
KDs, Kyrie's. Like I don't see nobody saying that. Like,
right.
And those dudes are popular. So it's just like I just think a lot of people like the nostalgia collection of Nike, and that's probably why the stocks are going down.
Well, I think it's also a combination that pricing is just ridiculous. I think you have a lot of situations where I just think other shoes like New Balance, Asics are just becoming more of a popular shoe, and I think they're a little bit more affordable in a sense.
And these kids don't care about Nike like we did.
No, they really don't. They really don't.
Like Nike ain't like that. Yeah, there's a few kids. Like if you groomed your child to be on Nike, yeah, they're gonna wear Nike. But most of these kids don't give a damn about wearing Nikes at school.
Mm-hmm.
They want to wear whatever makes them feel comfortable. Like you said, New Balances and Reebok, and, you know what I'm saying? Some off-brand shoe that we ain't never heard of or nobody wears. They wear that now.
Yeah.
So.
No, I feel you. All right, next up, I'm gonna play this clip from Errol Hawani. He talked about something that will be close to Chris's mindset, and get his thoughts on what he said. So let me play the clip real quick.
Hardcore fans over. TKO as an entity has a task on their hands right now. Their big task, in my opinion, they have to win the hardcore fans over. They may not care about the hardcore fans right now. They may care about the casuals, the top line, the mainstream fans, celebrity influencers. They may not care about the hardcores now. but they will start to worry about them when the casuals become hardcores, which is what they want. And the hardcores teach the casuals, which is how they feel right now, that those 3 letters are not very welcome right now. When you have fans chanting FTKO in the post show, that's a problem. The letters TKO are becoming somewhat stained in the eyes of wrestling, MMA, and boxing fans. That's a problem. We should never be talking about TKO as fans. That's the parent company. We didn't talk about Zuffa when we were watching the UFC back in the day. That was the parent company. We didn't really care. But they have become this sort of entity that is ruining, in the eyes of a lot of fans, this thing that we loved so much. They're ruining the sanctity of what we loved so much. The mat now has ads everywhere. All right, big deal. The table now has ads everywhere. All right, big deal. The apron now has ads everywhere. All right, big deal. No more backstage vignettes. No more interviews. Entrances being lost. It doesn't feel the same anymore. It doesn't feel the same. You would never see. I'm watching Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill, and they go to a shot of Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, and then they zoom out a little, and there's a guy named Adam Weitzman sitting next to them. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Adam Weitzman is, by all accounts, a very good guy. I've actually talked to him a few times online. Syracuse guy, businessman, has a scrap metal company. He has clearly, a good amount of money. God bless him. He is influential in the Syracuse scene, was I guess you could say like a booster of some kind, would always go to Syracuse basketball games with very famous people, Carmelo Anthony, Jimmy Fallon, those types of people. They got a falling out with Syracuse, then went to help Jerry McNamara with Siena and was helping them as well. All to say, I'm like, what is Adam Weitzman doing here? And they say, oh, and we're being joined by Adam Weitzman, who I guess paid for some sort of VIP experience to be sitting next to the broadcast team during WrestleMania. He never said a word. They showed him. He didn't even say hello. He smiled. But would you ever watch the Super Bowl and have them cut to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in the booth and just have a fan there? You would never have Joe Smith in the booth. Like, there are certain things. I am certain that TKO is making a lot of money and they're doing very, very well. There has to be a line. Not everything should be for sale, because I'm sure that you can make that money in different ways. Slap sponsors on the wrestler's shorts all over the thing. Sponsor. There's got to be a line. There has to be a line.
All right, that was Ariel Hawani. He was kind of talking about his experience watching WrestleMania. Obviously, there was a lot of conversation with the broadcasting and all that. What were your thoughts with his whole comments with TKO and not everything should be for sale?
I agree. You dilute the product. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you make the main thing the main thing. We watch this for pro wrestling. Yes, I get it. Since we were young kids, we saw advertisement on commercials. We was watching Saturday morning cartoons. There were several commercials that come on, new toys, cereal, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Come on, and we go back to watching our cartoons or whatever we watch. But now it's starting to become just a big advertisement. Like, I'm tired of, watching a match and then they pan away and then I gotta see 5 commercials and they go back to the match and then they cut to another commercial again. It's like, bro, we just cut to a commercial. Like, and then I didn't even know about the whole dude sitting next to the broadcast booth thing. Like, that's wild to me. Like, as bad as Vince McMahon is, he would never do that. He would have never did that. Now, I'm not advocating for Vince McMahon to come back by no means, because he was terrible. He's a terrible human being and he was a terrible booker. But yeah, it's just I don't know, man. The TKO thing is becoming real weird, especially hearing the interview from the president saying, they're in full control of creativity. They're willing to take the good and the bad, whatever. It almost came off like, we really don't care. We really don't care. We're gonna do. That's pretty much
what it was. Yeah, we're gonna do what we want.
We're gonna do what we want, and you're either gonna watch it or you're not gonna watch it. You know what I'm saying? And they know at the end of the day, WWE or hardcore fans, they have their hardcore fan base and they're gonna watch it regardless. You know what I'm saying? Especially the young kids. The kids don't care about TKO and what's going on. They care about seeing their favorite superstar wrestle. That's what they care about. And the entrance and all that stuff. And as long as they can yeet and you know what I'm saying, do whatever other thing they do, then and say whoop that trick, they cool. You know what I'm saying? But to the people who are a little bit more older who watch the product, it's becoming an eyesore because of the shoving down of advertisement in our face. And now you're stepping into creativity of the storylines. And I just spoke on, some of the releases that were weird. Like Kara saying, you're releasing her and she's in the middle of a storyline that we've been waiting for y'all to land for like damn near a year now. Like we've been waiting for this storyline to land, and now you pluck her from it. Now where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? And that's got to be a TKO thing to just be like, oh, we're gonna cut her back because she's not moving. I'm sure they're looking at analytics. Oh, she's not moving no t-shirt. She's not doing this. She's not doing that. Let's let her go. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's like I said, they're gonna have to, as far as the casual fans go, big companies have always been about the casual. They always want to attract new fans. And I get it. You want to attract new fans because they look at hardcore fans like, we already got y'all. We don't need to advertise to y'all. We don't need to talk to y'all. I want to talk to Susie, who don't even watch wrestling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, what's the chick name? Sweeney. What's her name?
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney. I'm gonna put her on the next WrestleMania card, and we're gonna get Susan to watch wrestling because she's wrestling Rhea Ripley. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they care about.
Yeah.
We're gonna put Jelly Roll up in here because Jelly Roll's a national superstar. We're gonna bring him in because all his fans are gonna watch WrestleMania and Raw, wherever he's at. SmackDown.
I Show Speed.
I'm gonna get all those kids to watch I Show Speed, and they're gonna watch Raw and SmackDown because they want to see I Show Speed. They don't care about Jey Uso and LA Knight and Roman Reigns, no, but they care about I Show Speed, and they're gonna watch. And maybe, possibly, because they watch I Show Speed. Now they're watching Roman Reigns. Now they're watching this guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they think. And I get the business model. You know what I'm saying? I get all that. But you don't get too far away to where you don't cater to your core. The people who really buy the tickets and get the shirts and get the merch and get all this stuff to keep the lights on and keep everything rolling. Because if you lose that, you're gonna be WCW.
Let me ask you a question. Wasn't there a moment where wrestling fans were complaining that WrestleMania was too long?
Well, that's why they chopped it in half.
So isn't it like kind of like, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't, like if we shorten it up, you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to be devil's advocate right now.
I'm right there with you. Look, we all know the IWC, which is the wrestling community. We all know that you can't please them.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground. There is no happiness. They want what we want. The thing that really ruins the wrestling experience, the number one thing is fantasy booking. They fantasy book something that they think that should happen, and when it doesn't go down the way that they think, and sometimes I get it. Sometimes you feel like this should go this way. This guy should win this match. This lady should win this match. She should be the champion. He should be the champion. And when it doesn't happen that way, they get mad. And then everything sucks. And everything is trash. And this is ass. And this is boring. And this is not good. And And then it's just a trickle-down effect. And you can't please everybody. Then it's tribalism. WWE, AEW, TNA. Like, is that? You know what I'm saying? This product. So instead of everybody just saying, I love wrestling, which is fine. You don't have to like AEW. You don't have to like WWE. But I'm just saying it's a lot of that going on in the wrestling community. So that's another part. It's a lot of toxicity in the wrestling community. So there's that too. And on top of that, there's no more surprise element. No more, Maul. Like, there was a time where stuff was surprise. Now you
Yeah,
got these content groups of like, and shout out to Fightful. I'm not trying to shit on Fightful, but I don't need Fightful to tell me the page is returning.
or the
Don't
Demon. Yeah, I
don't
know you guys
tell
had a
me.
lot of problem with Demon. With what's my
Yeah,
man's
that was a
name?
WWE thing, but I'm talking about like somebody's. We saw Paige backstage. She resigned. She's gonna show up tonight and be in the match. And it's like, bro, don't tell me that. I want to be surprised.
Right.
I want to have that. You taking that from me.
Mhm.
You're taking the exclusiveness of being surprised that this wrestler who we haven't seen in years is back. But because Fightful or whoever else told me on Twitter that they're backstage and they're coming, now it's like, well, shit, it's dope, but you kind of took the surprise element.
It doesn't have the pop like it could have. Yeah.
So it's just like it's a lot of stuff coming in. But as far as TKO goes, they're starting to get involved in creative, and a lot of people blame Triple H, and it didn't make sense because it's like you see the booking of Triple H and when it was NXT, because it was a 1 point mall where NXT was the best product going out. Not SmackDown, not Raw. This is back when Vince was in charge. Raw was trash. SmackDown was trash. NXT Black and Gold was the best product that WWE had to offer because Vince didn't care about NXT. He said, Triple H, that's your shit. I don't give a damn what you do with that. I don't care about them wrestlers down there. Do what you do.
Yeah.
And the best product was NXT. What messed up NXT was when AEW came, Vince got real cocky and was like, oh, we going to go the same day as AEW, Wednesday nights. Well, AEW started kicking in NXT's ass. He blamed Triple H, took Triple H away from creative, created NXT 2.0, and ruined the NXT product.
Yeah.
It's finally starting to get back when Shawn Michaels took over, and then they, made Vince go away. Once Shawn Michaels took back over it, now it's starting to get back to his roots. But I'm just saying, like, the product, Triple H not being a part of creative, because we all know, Triple H can book. He was booking good at NXT Black and Gold. And it's just like all of a sudden his booking went bad, and then it started making sense. Oh, TKO took over.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if 6 months from now Triple H has been let go.
I was hearing that a little bit, after WrestleMania.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. And as much as I love him, I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock, somebody from his writing team, takes over. People don't understand. I love The Rock, but he is the board member director. He is a director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
And maybe Rock is advocating for Triple H to stay on, and like, no, we're not going to get rid of him. No, we're not going to do that. But I'm just saying, this TKO thing, and I agree with what's the gentleman's name? I forgot his name.
Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, I agree with him that we shouldn't be talking about TKO unless we're doing some type of Triple H is like the storyline of he's part of TKO and he's like the new Vince McMahon corporate type, and we're doing a storyline about TKO. I don't want to hear about TKO.
Yeah.
Unless you're just talking about advertisement or whatever. Right. I don't need to hear in the show that TKO and ticket sales. Fans, I don't care about your ticket sales personally. I just want to see your product.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I don't care that this person sold that and this, that. We don't care.
Yeah.
We really don't. We just want to see a good product. That's it. And everything ain't going to be perfect. So.
Yeah. I feel it. I thought it was something great to get your opinion on. And I got something else, man. We're going to stick with wrestling because your favorite person, Rob Parker, man, he made some comments about certain things. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Hear your thoughts about it, sir. So let me pull up this clip real quick and we'll go from here.
Stephen A., and all. I'm just shocked to see ESPN, and I know McAfee was involved, and I get it. He's one of their personalities. Stephen A was there so that they could boo Stephen A., and all that. And that goes with the territory. It just tells you a big guy when they're booing you at an event like that. But it was a big ordeal. And I just saw stuff online where social media, people were ripping it that it wasn't good. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of commercials and at 4 hours and they only wrestled for an hour and a half out of those 4 hours. So there were a lot of people disgruntled. But my point is this. I can't understand how people are still into grown men are still into wrestling. I can't. We all went to the zoo. We all went to the circus as kids, right? And at some point, Kelvin, you grow out of it. I just cannot get over how older guys who are sports fans, who watch the NFL, who watch Major League Baseball, who watch the NBA, they live and die for that stuff, but they have this soft spot for wrestling, and they're walking around with the belts, and they're going to a watch party at a sports bar, whatever it may be. I need somebody to explain it to me because I don't understand it.
All right, sir. He asked the question. You being an avid wrestling fan, how would you answer that question for him?
Because the product is not shot towards kids, really. They're shot towards the grown men and women. Like, if you really watch the product, come on now, you see some of the stuff that the women are wearing, you think you think that's for little Johnny that's 6.
Yeah.
You see some of the promos that they talk, you think Jacob Fatu is here to try to get little Johnny 6 years old? No.
Right. Or
LA Knight or Roman Reigns or Jey Uso. Like, yeah, Jey Uso, yeet. But have you ever listened to his promos?
Right.
Yeah. That ain't no kid talk. This ain't Hulk Hogan say your prayers and take your vitamins type talk. That shit been there since the Attitude Era. And yes, was there a time where, when John Cena was in his reign, there was the PG era and they was more towards going to the kids and all that stuff. They got out of that. They went back to, it's not Attitude Era, but it's still promos where they cuss and, what I'm saying, they do, they say things that are not for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And even AEW do it a lot more. A whole lot more. So all this, look, if you're not into it, and I get some people have grown out of it. I think more so people grow out of it because some of their favorite wrestlers are probably not wrestling no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or some of the people that they grew up on are not wrestling no more. So a lot of the people that are older, probably Rob Parker's age, he probably grew up on the Ric Flairs, the Dusty Rhodes, and guys like that. They're not wrestling no more. They're going, some of them have passed away, some of that. So he probably got out of it at a certain age. And I get that. I've heard that. Some people have gotten out of it. I got friends who used to watch wrestling. They don't watch it no more. But the product itself is not for kids.
Yeah.
It's really not. If you really sit down and listen to it or watch it.
Especially like during the Attitude Era when I was growing up, that shit was definitely not for kids.
But I'm just talking about the product because he's talking about
it
now. I'm saying now the product is not for the kids. The product is made for grown men and women. The storylines are made for grown men and women.
Yeah.
Yes, kids watch it too, but initially they don't know what the hell they're watching.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer to Rob Parker, but I get it. If you don't like it, then that's fine. It's a grown man women's soap opera. That's all it is.
Yeah. No, I get it. I brought that clip up because I definitely was something that you as an avid wrestling fan. I just wanted to definitely hear your answer because he asked it. All right, next up, we'll keep it rolling. Last week, a White House committee is suddenly taking an interest in the college football playoff and believes the postseason should expand to 24 teams. During last week's here in Dallas, and expansion discussions are expected to reignite, and they're kind of settling around 24 teams. What's your thoughts with the White House committee being involved in this, and do you think this 24 team tournament will eventually happen?
Yes, I do, because they want everybody to have a participation award initially. That's all. And then it's going to expand to 32, and then it's going to go to 48, and then it's eventually going to be 100 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's going to dilute it, and it's no more rivals, no more, none of that. And I just don't understand it. I think it should be the best. I'm fine with the 12, personally. The best 12 get in. Why can't we do that? The playoffs was great last year.
They were really good.
They were great the year before that too.
Mm-hmm.
But can we keep it at 12? Why not? Why we gotta expand to 24, man? Just so we can see certain teams get in. Like
it's all about the money, brother. We all
I
know
get
what it's
why. No, I get why, but
it's all about
why is the
money.
White House? Why is the White House getting involved in this?
That's the main thing. Why is the White House getting involved? And we all know it's just going to dilute the product. I think football as a whole has a problem of just over diluting itself. I think the NFL will eventually have that problem. I think college football will eventually have that problem. And it's going to be a situation where the conversations you see with Major League Baseball, the conversations you see with the NBA, you're going to have the same conversations with the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to get to the point where football was made to be a once a day spectacle, maybe two, depending on Monday Night Football. We've turned it into an every day of the week thing. We have turned it into a year-long thing with combine, the draft, and whatever else they're going to kind of initiate themselves with. Now they're getting involved with the flag football and all that stuff like that. It just gets to a point where it's just going to be, all right, like, you know, we treated Sundays as like this big spectacle, but why should I stop my whole day on a Sunday when you're gonna have football Monday, you're gonna have football Wednesday, you're gonna have football Thursday, Friday, you know what I mean? Like, it's just gonna get to that point, but that's just me. Like, we'll keep it moving. The WNBA announced last week that the Indiana Fever will have all 44 of their games broadcasted nationally this season. Games will air on ABC, ESPN, USA, Prime Video, Ion, NBC, and Peacock, CBS, and NBA TV. Do you agree with this, man? Do you think the Indiana Fever should be the showcase team of this league this year, or should it be another team that should have
It should be the Las Vegas Aces, who won the championship and has the best player in their league?
Yes.
What are we doing here? I get it. Caitlin Clark mania, fine. You want to give her Las Vegas Aces should be on equal footing then. They should have just as many games.
I just think there's too many big stars. I think Caitlin Clark had her little lust, but I don't feel the same fever of Caitlin Clark. I don't. Like, I feel more energy from Angel Reese fans. I feel more energy from Paige fans. I feel more energy coming from what Washington has going on, the Dream, the Aces, the Storm, the Sparks. Like, I feel energy a lot more than from the Indiana fans. That's a reality. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot more superstars than just Caitlin Clark. And for them to have all 44 games, I don't get it. I don't understand. If you want to give them, like, I do understand. But again, there are other teams that deserve it more than them. The Aces deserve it more than them. The Liberty deserve it more than them. I get the Lynx. They're going through injuries, so I get it. They're not going to be, you know, with the injuries that they got going on. They're going to kind of be like more of a second half watch than the first half watch. But you got the Paige and Ozzy situation. You got Flage in Seattle with the Twin Towers that they got up in there. You got the Sparks, who are getting all their pieces back, and the revampedness of that team. Like I just think there's so many teams that it should be split. I think Aces were ranked 4th, maybe 3rd, as far as like the amount of national TV games they get, which is insanity. It's insanity. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But that's just me. All right, next up, man. I think we kind of talked about it anyway, but I'll bring it up again. Falcons edge James Pierce Jr. He had all his charges against him dismissed after completing a state Florida program, a therapy session, stay out of trouble for the next 6-month period. What's your kind of overall thoughts with this whole situation and the future of James Pierce Jr.?
This sounds like to me that he's going to continue to play. He's going to be on the Falcons still, and they're not going to get rid of him. They gave him this disclaimer. This is his one chance get out of free get out of jail card, and slap on the wrist. Don't do this shit again. Stay away from her, and lock in. That's what this says to me. And I look like Rakia probably signed off on it, probably got a restraining order against him that he can't be within, so many feet within her and all this other stuff. So because she signed off on her and her lawyer. So prayers to Rakia. And hopefully James Pierce can get his mentals right so that he won't continue this type of behavior towards, the next woman that he's with.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got a couple more. Next up, we have Ticketmaster Canada will no longer allow tickets for concerts, sports, and other live events in Ontario to be resold above their original price. Starting next week, Ontario's newly passed Bill 97 caps all resale ticket prices, including fees, service charges, and applicable taxes. What's your thoughts with this, man? And do you think we'll eventually see this happening across the board, especially here in the States?
Not no time soon. Not no time soon. So, if you want to go to a concert, people go to a concert in Canada.
Nah, yeah, facts for real. All right, two more, and then we'll end it here. Four-time All-Star and two-time NBA champion Rajon Rondo is among the candidates in the Pelicans coaching search. This is per the Stein and Jake Fisher. What were your thoughts be, man, if Rajon Rondo ends up getting this Pelicans job? Do you think this would be the right move for the Pelicans?
I wouldn't be mad at it. I heard Rajon Rondo has been, in talks of being a really good coach. So I would love to see it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Trust me, I've seen people come off the couch and become coaches. So at least Rajon is a coach. So I wouldn't be mad at it.
No, I think this will be amazing. I think Rajon Rondo has one of the smartest minds in basketball. We saw him as a player. I saw it with him when he was with the Lakers, and we ended up winning the bubble championship. He was one of the main cogs and main reasons why we won that championship. And he's just a smart individual when it comes to basketball. I would love it. I think it will give a lot of energy into that team, that young team. I think they will look highly of him. And then just the smarts of it. Like he kind of gives me like JJ Redick vibes, you know what I mean? In the sense of just how smart he is on the court. So I think it'll be a great move, honestly. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to end it on this. We got some big news over the weekend with Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion. Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion, I guess her PR team announced that they are no longer together per obviously infidelity reasons per Klay. I got a clip here from Ebro. I'm gonna play it real quick, and then we'll get your thoughts on the whole situation with Klay, Ebro, and some of the things that these ladies are now doing since Klay has cheated on their so-called Megan Thee Stallion. All right, let me pull up the clip real quick.
Because they're a lot, but
I would also like to add, a professional athlete that has been making a gazillion dollars for however long Klay Thompson's been in the league. How long has he been in the league?
I'm gonna give you his career earnings real quick because they're a lot, but 12 years, something like that.
And we've never known any of Klay Thompson's
nothing
personal interests. 14 years in the NBA.
He's over.
How many rings?
He's over 300 million.
He's made over $300 million in the league. How many rings?
4?
3 or 4 rings.
He's done.
And you've never known about him dating anybody.
I think only Kendall.
He was with Kendall.
I think so, yeah.
All right. I'll go with it. Rasan said. Whatever.
That sounds pretty good.
It doesn't change my point. My point is you've all assumed a man who makes $300 million and has 4 championship rings and run around with Steph ain't out here bagging joints.
Facts. What a terrible.
Y'all made that.
Yeah.
Out of I don't know why.
Because Meg is a big deal, and you go, oh wow, you're with Meg. This looks cool.
You know what a bigger deal is? $300 million, 4 NBA rings, and playing on national television
on the Warriors, by the way.
Warriors and getting chips. Big deal. But I say all that to say that I believe this is more indicative of an athlete who's been at the top of his game for a long time. And
apparently he's still at the top of his game.
But not really though, because I believe that he wanted and tried to be somebody that he wasn't.
Yep.
Meg was over there with the family. She even wrote in I was going to call it manifesto, in her IG post.
No, not a manifesto.
No, I just had manifesto on the mind.
Yeah.
In her IG post about, I went to the family and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I don't believe Klay would have introduced you to his family if he wasn't serious. Okay. But once again, I don't know Klay. Maybe that's a part of the jokes. I don't know. But I would assume that someone over there with the family and the way y'all was trying to make family moments and Thanksgivings and holidays, that he was probably trying. The problem is he's used to being a different person. And I think that a lot of people got to learn
when men who are used to being outside, women who are used to being outside, running around, getting money, hustling, and the life is changing. In an athlete's context, he had a terrible season last year, didn't he? This is like the beginning of the end.
Well, it's the beginning of the end. Yeah, I don't know if it's been terrible.
Okay, let's not call it terrible. But anyway, the beginning of an end for an athlete or someone who's used to performing at a certain level
very hard
causes someone's ego to spiral.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses. He's a cheater, according to Megan. He screwed up. I think if he would have been more aware and honest of where he is in his life, he might have been able to handle this a little different.
Can I just say, though?
So that was just some of the comments that he made. And then obviously we'll add a little bit more. Females now have started a cheat first campaign in response to Klay Thompson allegedly cheating with Megan Thee Stallion. Quote saying, "We will be cheating on our men tonight for Meg." What are your thoughts with this whole situation with Klay Thompson, Megan Thee Stallion, and obviously the energy that has been spiked amongst the women about seem like get back on all men and all that. So what are your thoughts with what Ebro said and everything else?
Look, I don't know we don't even know all the details. We just going off of one side of what one side said. And that's what Meg Thee Stallion she put out there. Now, no, Klay hasn't debunked none of this, but we still was just getting one side of the story, and that's Meg Thee Stallion. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Now, I'm not absolving him if he cheated. That's horrible. You know, he was in a relationship, infidelity. Now, one thing you gotta the thing that's really like kind of like weird to me is like, I get it. As far as the Splash Brothers go, Steph was the more famous one. He was the more known one. Like, unless you watch basketball, like for real, you know who the Splash Brothers are. You know who Klay Thompson was. But Keisha, who don't watch basketball, don't know who Klay Thompson is. I'm just gonna keep it real because he's not famous. He's quiet. He's a more reserved guy. His life wasn't out there like Steph. Steph, you know Steph's wife, you know his kids, you know all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know all his personal stuff. You know what I'm saying? They've even got jokes on Steph's wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know all their personal business. You really didn't know nothing about Klay Thompson until this Meg Thee Stallion stuff came around, and now he's with Meg. We've seen Meg's chronological of life when she's in a relationship. Everything, every relationship she's been in, we've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And they don't all end good. I think she even cheated on somebody with, somebody. So it ain't all been great. You know what I'm saying? So
Tory Lanez.
The Tory Lanez situation. Yeah. We all know how that ended. So, but I agree with what Cameron said. Stop putting your personal business out in the public.
Certain relationships are just bigger than that. You can't hide certain relationships.
You can't, but it's just like, and then the thing is weird to me is like a lot of these women are trying to act like Klay, like, oh, we don't even know who Klay Thompson is. It's because of Meg. And it's like, bro, Klay net worth is way more than Meg Thee Stallion. His net worth is at right now is at 140 million. She's at 40.
Yeah.
And you got to know the risk of being with these athletes. I'm not absolving them for it, but they got too much access to stuff. They going from city to city to play basketball, and you think that women are not lined up? The temptation is just too high for them. They see 1,000 Meg Thee Stallions when they go play in different cities. And we don't know eternally their relationship. We don't know where they're at in their relationship. We don't know what's going on. And like I said, I ain't excusing his infidelity. Infidelity is bad. You know what I'm saying? I ain't advocating for you to cheat on your woman or nothing like that on women cheat. And this whole we cheating on our men, that is the most ridiculous shit I've heard and saw today on the internet. You gonna cheat on your man for somebody else's relationship and they troubles over a Meg Thee Stallion, because she's your favorite rapper? That's dumb to me.
Yeah.
That is stupid. That don't make no sense. And all y'all women on there talk on the timeline going crazy, talking about bring me his ACL on this table by Monday. Like, what?
Yeah.
Y'all love Meg Thee Stallion that much?
Yeah.
Y'all bugging out here. But as far as their relationship go, hey, whatever happened, hey, hopefully it gets figured out. Maybe they go their separate ways. You could tell she hurt from the situation. I could tell she loved that dude. And I agree. I don't think that he don't love her because he cheated. He obviously, because he introduced her and made that relationship public. We don't know Clay from making relationships public.
Yeah.
When you see that change of behavior, to me, that tells me that he really cared for her. At the very least, he cared for her.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they had bought a house or something together or something. They had showed keys or something, whatever. I thought they had bought a place together or something. So he obviously loved her for whatever reason. But hey, maybe old habits don't die. And he's an NBA player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is the risk. And I'm telling you, ladies, and some of you, if you're a young lady watching this, be careful with these athletes and these actors and these rappers that are superstars or they have access. They got a little bit of fame or a little bit of money. That's the risk that you run.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that was going to be the last one, but I do want to play this last one. This will be the legit last one. This is the last one. We got some comments from Paige. I want to play this and get our thoughts.
Well, first of all, I missed you guys. Genuinely hope everyone had a great off season. There is something that I wanted to address, and I only plan on addressing it once. So if we continue to get asked about it, we will refer to this moment in time, or we will use this time to deflect and talk about our teammates. Quite frankly, I believe me and AZ's personal relationship is nobody's business but our own. But and what we choose to share is completely up to us. But as media members, I understand you guys have a job to do, and you guys have to ask questions about the basketball aspect of it. So that's what I will be addressing today. Me and AZ have always been the most professional. We've always conducted ourselves as such, and we've never let anything that happens off the court carry onto the court. That's what we continue to do. And I'm not entirely sure if this is new to media members, to social media, to new people who are watching the WNBA or women's basketball in general, but me and AZ are not new to this. We've been doing this for a long time. We have countless reps at it. We have a lot of experience with it, so we will continue to use that experience to show up and be professionals, great teammates, great leaders, the hardest workers, and continue to show up and do our job and help the Dallas Wings win basketball games. To add on to that, AZ Fudd was the #1 draft pick because she earned it, and it had nothing to do with me and everything to do with who she is as a human being, who she is as a basketball player, her resilience, her strength, and her career best year at UConn. So AZ is her great individual person, her own great individual person, and she should be celebrated as such. And now that we got that out of the way, I would love to talk basketball.
All right, those are some comments about obviously there was a question that a reporter asked AZ Fudd about the relationship with her and Paige, and have they talking to anybody that have been in this situation. Obviously there have been numerous relationships in the WNBA where the players have been on the same team, but overall, what are your thoughts on what Paige said? And we'll go from there.
I think it was definitely interesting to hear her address this. I didn't know that this was gonna be like that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was gonna be one of those. Okay, it happened on draft night. Maybe people talk about it a few days and then we move on. But when you're the #1 overall pick and then your significant other is the #1 overall pick and y'all on the same team, y'all relationship's gonna get talked about. I mean, it is what it is, and as far as her, Ozzy, we're not sitting here saying Ozzy Fudd didn't deserve to be the #1 overall pick. Nobody's saying that. She definitely deserved it. She's one of the better college players to come out this season. So would I have gone in a different direction with the Dallas Wings? I think it was more positionally. I don't give you know what I'm saying. It had nothing to do with Ozzy Foot in y'all relationship. It really did. It had nothing to do with Paige and Ozzy. It had everything to do with. I just feel like y'all needed a center. Like I think y'all would have been better with Lauren Betts or Awi Fam. I thought one of those two would have been the better pick. But I get it. You got chemistry with your girl, Ozzy Fudge. Maybe it works out. Maybe we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? It could happen. You know what I'm saying? Maybe y'all be the two best, one of the best backcourts in the WNBA, and y'all win a WNBA championship in a couple of years. I don't know. But it was never about their relationship and who they are as far as a couple. I wish them all the best. I hope they, be together forever. But it was more just, I can only speak with, I think I can speak for you too, because we talked about this. It was more positional than it was their relationship.
No, 100% was all about positional. It had nothing to do with their relationship. I don't think we even brought up the relationship. It was just the fact that you have three players that do the same exact thing. You know what I mean? And where do you fit? Arike Agumake is not some player that needs to be on the bench. She is a starter in this league. So when you have three players who damn near play the same position doing what they do, like it's more about stylistically fit. And then obviously injury histories with both of them. They both have significant knee issues that they both have had. Like it's question mark. And it's like, yeah, Ozzy Fudd was one of the better players, but so was Lauren Betts. She deserved to be a number one player. And I would understand I would being a number one with just the athletic. Like when you see tape of Awa, it's just like, all right, you can see number one pick status with her. You know what I mean? You really could. So I'll just say this, man. I appreciate Paige's comments, but I'm gonna be honest with them. They got a rude awakening. They got a real rude awakening. These WNBA players need to wake up. I love the WNBA. I love and support these ladies in this league, but they have a real rude awakening of the reality that they are facing with this league becoming as popular as it is, and the amount of money that these ladies are going to start generating more and more as this league and the history of this league continues to grow. Like you're in a situation where you have open relationships on teams. The question that the reporter even asked wasn't even disrespectful. He just asked if you guys have had any conversation with other people who have been in this situation with relationships on a team and how to go about it. That's all they asked. They didn't ask about your sexual history. They didn't ask why y'all together. Could this affect the team? Anything like that. It was nothing to that manner. So I don't even know where they even got this point where they had to even stop the question. The Dallas Wings made this bigger than what it really needed to do. If they just allowed Ozzy to answer the question, no one would be talking about this. We have had many relationships in the WNBA that no one has brought about, but it's going to get brought about more because now you're going to start having more national media being present who aren't familiar with the league, and they're going to ask questions why. We don't have open relationships in the NBA. We don't have open relationships in the NFL. We don't have open relationships in NHL hockey. We do not have those dynamics. We do not. We don't have married couples on the same team. We do not. They do not have those dynamics. And these females need to wake up. They need to honestly just be able to openly answer the question. I get it if it's a disrespectful question. I understand that. But when it comes to the facts of you being in a relationship, two star players being in a relationship on the same exact team, there's going to be questions. That is just the reality of where we live in today's society in modern day internet. In the way the leagues are covered, it's becoming more TMZ-like. It is what it is. But these WNBA players who I love and admire what they're doing, Paige is a hell of a player. Ozzy's a hell of a player. Asia, Chelsea Gray, all these players, Kelsey Plum, they're all amazing players. But don't sit here and bang on the table. We need to be paid more and have your cake and eat it too when it comes to media and press. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. The more y'all can accept the fact that you guys are going to get more prodded, more asked, more invasive with this league, because it's going to get a point where you're going to have ladies start making $10, $20 million down the line, 10, 20 years. Who knows how quick that's going to come, but it's going to happen. It's the same with NBA players and NFL players who have relationships. How many times has Steph Curry got asked about his wife? How many times has Bam Adebayo got asked about Asia Wilson? They're not even on the same team. Do you think they want to talk about the relationships all the time? No, but they just handle it. They answer the question. They move the fuck on. These ladies need to follow the model that these male athletes have considered. You are not going to get special treatment. It's not going to work like that. Respectfully, it's not. And it's going to become more invasive the more money you make, the more you're on TV, the more popularity is. You are going to be the talk of the town. So no matter whatever you do, there's going to be a talking point. What do you think LeBron James has to deal with on a day-to-day basis? Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? It is the reality of this situation. These women need to wake up. I love y'all, but y'all got to wake up. Y'all are not going to get treated any differently from NBA players, NHL players. This is what you want. This is what you ask for. Expect the reality in this, whether you agree with it or not. It is the reality. And you can't get ultra defensive with these questions. You cannot. It is part of the team aspect. When you are dating said player on said team that could potentially mess up the vibes in the locker room, there are going to get questions asked. That is the reality of it. And these ladies need to accept it. I'm sorry, they're going to have to. There's no way around this. And I love y'all to death. Don't kill me. Don't kill the messenger. Accept it and learn how to adapt with it. Learn how to answer the questions. Learn how to swerve the question in a better way. But you running away from it is only going to ask more questions and cause more of an intrusive noticeability on said topic. So they need to wake up. And that's just kind of my whole point on that. So, well, shout out to everybody in the WNBA.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, player. You know, it's a situation where they're gonna have to learn from, and you know, like you said, if Ozzy Fudd had just answered the question, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Not at all. Not at all. Expect more.
And
it's gonna happen.
Like I said, it's you guys are the your back-to-back first-round picks. Like you're gonna get. You're gonna get talked about. It is what it is.
And it wasn't even a disrespectful question. It wasn't a disrespectful question. I don't know
at all.
They got to wake up, man. They got to wake up, respectfully.
They do. All right, man. Let's go ahead and recap the NFL draft. Try to pull this up real quick. Oh, this. If I do this, 26. Right there. Here we go. Yeah. All right. Let me add that screen. All right, y'all. So the NFL draft has passed, and we're gonna give our winners and losers from this draft. But this was initially the first round of the draft. We ain't gonna go through everything, but first round, of course, Maul's happy. He got his quarterback of the future, Fernando Mendoza. The Jets got David Bailey. The Cardinals got Jeremiah Love. Carnell Tate went to the Titans. Arvell Reese went to the Giants. My Chiefs traded up to get cornerback Mansour Delane. Washington Commanders got Sonny Styles. Saints got wide receiver Jordan Tyson. Cleveland got offensive lineman Spencer Fanu. New York Jets got the 10th pick from the Bengals and got offensive lineman Francis Monguaya. The Cowboys got traded, or did they trade up? I think they traded up. Traded up to get Caleb Downs. They traded up, and what's the name? Traded one spot back. The Dolphins got offensive lineman Caden Proctor. The LA Rams, they got Ty Simpson. The Ravens got it was Oliviga. Vega,
Mhm.
guard out of got a guard, Ruben Bain. He slipped to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tight end Kenyon Sadiq went to the Jets. Blake Miller, right tackle, went to the Lions. Defensive tackle Caleb Banks went to the Vikings. Monroe Freeman, offensive lineman, went to the Panthers. Wide receiver Mekhi Lemon went to the Eagles. They traded up in front of the Steelers to get him, and then the Steelers ended up having to get Max Elinacher, offensive lineman. Akeem Mesidor, defensive end, went to the Chargers. Malachi Lawrence, edge, went to the Cowboys. Wide receiver KC Concepcion went to the Browns. Safety Dylan Thiedemann went to the Bears. Keelan Relich, guard, went to the Texans. Cornerback Chris Johnson went to the Dolphins. Caleb Luma, offensive tackle, went to the Patriots. My Chiefs, with the first round pick, got defensive tackle Peter Woods. Jets picked up wide receiver Omar Cooper Jr. The Titans end up getting Keldrick Falk, defensive end, and the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks got running back Jadarian Price. So, what are your initial thoughts of the first round, sir?
First round, obviously, me getting my quarterback, and that put me in a great mood. I was happy to finally hear his name get associated with the Raiders officially, so I was happy about that. I obviously, I was a little surprised that you guys traded up to get Mansour Delane. I understand it in a sense, but at the same time, it's like I still think Mansour probably would have been there, me personally. Now, maybe they got word that maybe, the Commanders, maybe the Saints, maybe a situation like that where they were gonna take him. Maybe they got a little spooked by that and they're like, yo, let's just go all in. So I kind of understand that. I think Sonny Styles to the Commanders, I think that's a big move. The athletic ability that he has, pairing up with Bobby Wagner, learning the position from one of the greats, I think it could be definitely helpful for them. We all know the defensive help that they need on that Commander side, even with the additions that they had on free agency. Adding Sonny Styles just adds more talent to that. The Jordan Tyson thing, I like him as a receiver. I understand why he went. He was considered one of the best. But at the end of the day, I wasn't really a fan. I kind of told you about that a little bit, where it's just like I don't really understand it with all the other aspects that they needed on that team. You already have a receiver who's kind of the same, who has similar health concerns as well with hamstrings and stuff like that. That was a little concerning. I think the funniest moment had to be the Mekhi Lemon situation to me, with the fact of like he's on the phone with the Steelers and Steelers are telling him like, oh yeah, you're going to be in Pittsburgh. You ain't got to go that far, not knowing that the Dallas Cowboys have, ripped that rug right underneath them. And the next thing you know, Philadelphia traded up to get their guy, which we all know is kind of the anticipation of the A.J. Brown trade. So I love that for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers got to be hot about that situation. I'm sure they wanted that. You saw Ryan Clark kind of talked about that. But besides that, man, I think the biggest news had to be the Rams selecting Ty Simpson. I did not love that move. I did not understand the move. I personally think the vibes that you saw from the head coach was the legit thing. I know he can kind of parade, and they can have him parade around kind of saying whatever he wants to kind of, get away from him looking miserable that they selected Ty Simpson, and him having to reassure everybody that this is Matthew Stafford's job. But you can't fool me, bro. You can't fool me. I love the Caleb Downs thing, but overall, man, it kind of went the way I wanted. I thought the Jets killed it with Kenyon Sadiq, David Bailey, Omar Cooper Jr. I love what they did. Hopefully they give Aaron Glenn an actual opportunity to get their quarterback and move forward with this team. But overall, man, they got a talented trio. You know what I mean? I can't be mad at what the Jets did.
Yeah. I'm cool with the first, of course, you guys get in Fernando Mendoza. That was already known way back when you guys got the first overall pick. We knew y'all was getting. It's the Jets pick switched from Arvell Reese to David Bailey probably with the last couple weeks. But them getting David Bailey, he's a short pass rusher. We know what he is, so I get why the Jets took him. Jeremiah Love going to the Cardinals. They need everything over there. Yeah. Maybe if they could have went with a defense, maybe they could have went Arvell Reese or somebody like that. Because of you already got a crowded backfield with Trey Benson, and you just signed Tyler Algier, and you got Jonathan Conner there. But I get Jeremiah Love. You want a superstar, you want to get the fan base happy. So I get all that. Carnell Tate to the Titans makes sense. You want to give Cam Ward some more weapons. I'm all for that. You already signed Wan'Dale Robinson, so maybe those two could be a nice little tandem together. Arvell Reese to the Giants. I could see why people weren't really happy with it because you kind of already got that with the Abdul Carter, and we're gonna see what they're gonna do with Kayvon Thibodeau. There was talks of them trading him. It even looked like it was going down because he said goodbye on his IG. Like it seemed like they was a for sure thing, but the Jets end up trading for Tyree Wilson. I know Maul's happy about that. But yeah, they end up trading for him instead because of the price what the Giants were asking for. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens to Tibbs and where that leaves Arvell Reese. Does he just play outside linebacker and they just like Tibbs play it out and then maybe they try to trade him next year? I don't know, but it's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. I maintain what I said about the Chiefs moving up. My Chiefs moving up to get my son delay. I love the player, I really do. The compensation was kind of a shocker to me, moving up that spot. But like I said they heard that the Saints were going to take Mansour Delane, and it looked like Spags was high. Like there was their number one guy, Mansour Delane, and they even, he was supposed to come on the top 30 visit, and Spags told Veach, no, let's just do a Zoom because we don't want to tip nobody off. And so they really wanted him. And hey, if that's your guy, I can't be mad at it. And he's the number one consensus corner coming out of this draft. So how can I be mad? It's not like they traded up for like the sixth corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't be mad at that. Sonny Styles, like you said, going to the Commanders. That's going to be a nice little linebacker core. Him, Leo Chanel, and what's the linebacker name? I always forget his name.
Well, which one?
Bobby Wagner.
Yeah. Bobby.
That's going to be a nice little tandem right there. So I expect that to be a hell of an athletic, linebacker core. And then you got Bobby Wagner in the middle, kind of being the elder statesman, you know what I'm saying, teaching these boys how to do it. I'm with you with the Jordan Tyson. I understand Jordan Tyson, but I'm with you, the injury history. I know Dr. Chow, if you know Dr. Chow, he gets on the internet and he talks about certain injuries or whatever. He said he has no concern with Jordan Tyson's injury history, but we'll see. Yeah. The Browns, they needed an offensive lineman, so Spencer Fano makes sense for them. The Giants, I was surprised that they went Francis Manguire. I thought they was going to go Caleb Downs there. So I was really surprised that they went there. But hey, I guess they feel like they needed an offensive line to, keep Jackson Dart upright. So I can't be too mad at it, but, we'll see. The Cowboys getting Caleb Downs. I thought that was a good pick for them. He could be a stalwart in their secondary. They need all the secondary help that they can get. So Caleb Downs is, not a bad place to start at. You can move him around and do all kinds of things with Caleb Downs. I'm with you with the Ty Simpson thing. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to that show with Acho and TJ Husmajada last night, and they were talking about it. And the devil advocate part of it is like the Rams will never be picking up this high to get a quarterback, I guess. And maybe they just figured, bump it, we'll get our quarterback now. I know there's a quarterback class coming out next year, but we never know how these quarterback classes go. We thought this year was going to be a quarterback class, so you never know. So maybe they felt like they needed to get their quarterback now. They ain't got to worry about it now. So I agree. I think they're in win mode now. So why not just get a Mekhi Lemon? Because you don't know how many more years you got of Devontae Adams. Like Devontae Adams could retire next year. If they don't get it done this year, or let's say this Rams do win the Super Bowl, I'm sure Devontae Adams probably gonna walk off in the sunset and say, I got my ring, I'm out. So you got Mekhi Lemon in place with Puka Nacua, and then you don't even know about the Puka Nacua situation because he has his issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't know how that's gonna go with the negotiations of paying him and all that stuff. So that might be a rift. They might end trading Puka Nacua. So I'm with you. They probably should have went wide receiver, but I guess I understand the pathway of why they wanted a quarterback there. Tampa Bay got a steal. We're getting Ruben Bain Jr. You add that to that defensive line, and they've been needing defensive line. Somebody who could rush the passer. Him, Vita Vea, Clancy. I forgot the dude's name, but that should make a pretty nice defensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I can see Todd Bowles doing some good stuff with him. So we'll see. Kenyon Sadiq going to the Jets. If they had a better quarterback, I'd be happy for him. No, but maybe I'm saying, look, they're putting pieces in place so when they get their quarterback next year, whether it be Dante Moore or Arch Manning or whoever it is next year, they're getting all their pieces in place. You got Kenyon Sadiq, you got Omar Cooper Jr., you got Garrett Wilson, you got A.D. Mitchell, you're starting to build a nice little receiving core over there. So I'm not mad at Breece Hall. We expect him to get paid. So you're building a nice little receiving core. So whatever quarterback's there next year, you can make it easier on him. So I'm not mad at Kenyon Sadiq at all.
Yeah.
Blake Miller, to shore up that they one of their offensive linemen retired. So, and they're putting Penei Sewell on the left side, which is really his natural position because he played that in college. So you're putting Penei Sewell on the left side. You put Blake Miller on the right side. This dude, he's played a lot of college football. He can step right in and be a starting right tackle, probably be there but if no injuries or nothing like that, he'll be a starting caliber right tackle for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? 10, 12 years. And you just put him right there. I was surprised by Caleb Banks getting drafted this early because all the reports of his injury, not the talent, but the injury and his motor. There was questions about him, and you can speak to this more than me because you're a Florida fan.
Yeah.
Caleb Banks had issues with people saying they questioned his motor, his motivation. He doesn't play to every snap, you know what I'm saying? So there were questions on that. But if anybody can get the best out of him, it's Brian Flores. So I'm not questioning that. If this kid if he can be the highest of his ceiling, he could be a dominant defensive tackle in this league. So like you said, the whole Eagles swooping in on the Steelers to get Mekhi Lemon is probably some of the funniest TV I've ever seen in my life. Like,
yeah,
my man just and asking the owner or the GM why is the Eagles calling? Like he's supposed to know. I don't know. Probably trying to draft you. So it was kind of messed. It was kind of messed up, but it was kind of funny too. But shout out to the Eagles. That's what Howard Roseman does. And they also traded for Jonathan Grenard too. So
yeah, they did.
The defensive line got better too. So Akeem Mesidor going to the Chargers. I think that's a good pickup for them. To add to that defensive line, you brought back what's the boy Khalil Mack. You got the Tupou kid, he had like 10.5 sacks. You add that to that defensive line, and I think that that defensive line is going to be a problem, especially with Jim Harbaugh at the helm. Casey Concepcion going to the Browns. That was a good pickup. I like Casey Concepcion. He could be a force, whether it be Shador, Deshaun Watson, or whoever. Whoever's the quarterback for the Browns. They're not devoid of weapons now. You know what I'm saying? So Dylan Thiederman going to the Bears. They needed some safety help, especially with losing Kevin Byard. You pair him with Kobe Bryant, that's going to be a nice little safety tandem right there. My team getting Peter Woods. I like Peter Woods' upside. If you look at the 2024 tape, you'll see the upside. Peter Woods was highly regarded. If we're talking about going into last season, Peter Woods was thought to be a top 5 pick last year. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, that whole defensive line didn't perform to the attributes, because even TJ Parker was looked at as at least a top 10 pick last year. So if we can tap into to his upside, him being next to Chris Jones, learning from Chris Jones, our defensive line, another pick that we got in the second round with R. Mason Thomas, I think this defensive line could get back to being what it was, a couple years ago. We can get to the passer. So, and then Keldrick Faulk is going to be interesting going to the Titans, because if anybody can get the best out of him, it would be Robert Saleh. I think that that makes sense for them. You know what I'm saying? Get a young guy. He's only 20 years old, y'all. 21 years old. So he's still young. You know what I'm saying? So he's got all the physical traits. It's just, getting the best. And I think I would trust Robert Saleh to get the best out of Keldrick Faulk. You know what I'm saying? And there's no pressure on him to be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Jadarian Price going to the Seattle. I know a lot of people didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not consistent as number one pick. But they did got to replace Kenneth Walker. And they do. You don't know what Charbonnet is going to look like coming off an ACL tear. So you kind of do got to get your running back. And me and Maul agreed. Jadarian Price was the second best running back in this draft. So why not get the second best? I wasn't mad at it. It is what it is.
No.
So who did you feel was the winners in this draft?
Winners, man. I went with the Texans. I like the Texans getting Caden McDonald alone to me just was like, bro, like the rich get richer, especially with that defense, man. That defense is already elite as it is. You add Caden McDonald to what they already have, especially on that defensive line with Will Anderson and all that. Like, my God. I love what the Cowboys did, surprisingly, especially, you know, we kind of get the gist of what they got off of the Micah Parsons trade. You know, you adding Caleb Downs and that whole situation and Malachi Lawrence, man. I like it. I really do. So I like them. I like what the Browns did. I'm not even gonna lie, you know, just with the combination that they did get. Pull them up real quick as far as like who they received. But I like Spencer Fanu. You sort up that line. Casey Concepcion, he was one of my favorite receivers. Denzel Boston, like I love like the pairing, I guess, with two of them. You know, I know you kind of have your doubts with Denzel Boston, but he do have great hands when he gets up to it. He does. It's more of the route running. Emmanuel McNor-Warren, he was one of the most highly touted safeties to come out in this draft. I like that as well. So I like what the Browns did. I like what the Jets did. Me personally, again, they don't have the quarterback or anything like that, but you're building a foundation. You're building assets. We all know that they're eventually going to get the quarterback they want next year. We all know Geno Smith is just a stepping stone, but you getting David Bailey, you getting Kenyon Sadiq, you getting Omar Cooper Jr., D'Angelo Pons. I love D'Angelo Pons as a corner. I like that. I know they did get Kate Klubnik and all that, but I feel like he's just more of a backup. And then obviously my Raiders, man. I love what my Raiders did. You know, them getting Fernando Mendoza, them obviously getting Traydon Stoops, who's also a highly touted safety, the edge Kenyon Crawford. I know he has some questions, but overall he is an athletic freak in a sense. Trey Zoom kind of solidifying, you know, reading reports about him, you know, he has a potential of moving around, you know, kind of solidifying that old line. But to me, getting Jermon McCoy at 101, a guy that was projected to be a top 10 pick. If it wasn't for the injuries, I think he would have been the consistent number one cornerback in this draft. And I get it, the injury concerns, I understand it with the knee, but to get him at 101, fourth round, I think it's a huge steal. You know what I mean? Just the value in that, and then the potential of him being a top. He's a top 10 talent that got drafted in the fourth round for obvious reasons. But if he can just stay healthy, or they can just manage his knee injury to the point where he can have a long career, it's a win. I love Mike Washington Jr. and all that stuff like that. Malik Benson, who I think could be a sleeper with him and his freakish athletic ability on that receiver side. He's going to be competing with Trey Tucker, but he's very explosive wide receiver. I love what my Raiders did. Not being biased, but I'm truly happy what we did. So.
No, I'm right there with you. I had the Browns also as a winner. Like you've already stated, Casey Concepcion, Fanu, Denzel Boston, and what's his name? Manuel Neil Warren.
Yeah, Manuel McNeil Warren.
Yeah. That was a nice crop of players right there. They're definitely all those players will step in and be contributors some way or another. I'm with you with your Raiders. I like what your Raiders did. You got your quarterback. You got a safety that's really, really good. You got Jermon McCoy, real good value. If he could stay healthy, he could potentially be a top corner in his league. And then Mike Washington Jr., him and Ashton Genty in the backfield, 1-2 punch. That's going to be kind of scary right there. Especially
you also got Hemby too. He signed on our.
Yeah, I saw that. Hemby too. Hemby would be more so your pass catching guy. You know, saying catches at the backfield, but Malik Washington and Ashton Genty is going to be a problem tandem right there. That's going to be scary, especially my team being in the AFC West. Definitely don't want to see that. I actually like what the Giants did. Say what you want about Arvell Reese, but if you can get with the best out of Arvell Reese, if he becomes Micah Parsons, are you complaining? No.
And it's a good problem to have too, not to cut you off. It's a good problem to have. You have a lot of players that could play on that D line, and you can trade them for whatever if you need a piece for something else.
And look at Seattle's defensive line. They rotated like 7 to 8 guys on that defensive line. That ain't nothing bad to have.
Nah, it's not. It's really not.
You can give my man Brian Burns a little breather and keep him fresh throughout the season. Rotate them dudes in. I ain't got no problem with that.
Nah.
Francis Munguia, you shore up your offensive line. Because we all know that the Giants have offensive line problems every year. They can never get it right.
It's true.
So why not? You got to keep shooting that offensive line. Why not? Malachi Fields and Colton Hood, the corner out of Tennessee, the other corner out of I thought
he's good too.
He was really good. Jamal McCoy didn't play at all. He had to become the number one corner, and he performed.
Yeah, he did.
Very well. So shout out to Colton Hood. Malachi Fields, he's a good big body, 6'4". He didn't run fast, but he plays faster on the field than he does in testing. You know what I'm saying? And he's a good contrast to what you got in Malik Neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Malik Neighbors is your fast, he's your playmaking type wide receiver. You get a big body wide receiver like Malachi Fields where you could just go up and get it, good red zone threat. Why not? I'm with you with the Jets. I like what the Jets did. David Bailey, Keon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr., D'Angelo Pons. I like that. I think D'Angelo Pons and what's the head coach name for the Jets?
Aaron Glenn.
I think that was an Aaron Glenn. I could see that had
for sure.
That had Aaron Glenn written all over it because he reminds him of himself because Aaron Glenn was a small type, hard-nosed corner, in the league. So that had him on, but I like all their picks, and I'm gonna be biased too. I like what my Chiefs did. You know what I'm saying? I like the Peter Woods. I like my son Delane. I love that we got our Mason Thomas, man. I love it, and then I love the running back we got. My man Emmett Johnson. I love that pick. You know what I'm saying? Good value. Like you got Mike Washington, because I was mad y'all got Mike Washington. Damn it. I wanted Mike Washington, but then when we got Emmett Johnson, I was like, all right, we got a good running back. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people love Emmett Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Dude had over 1,400 yards. I think he led the nation in scrimmage yards last year because you can catch the ball at the backfield too. So I instantly think that he might be running back number 2.
5.8 carries per yard, 15 total TDs, man.
You can't be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? But I think that me and your team got better, over the weekend, and it makes the AFC West.
AFC West gonna be tough. AFC West gonna be tough.
The only team I feel like, even though I do like what the Broncos did as far as the running back they got, and Jonah Coleman, I thought that was a good pickup for them. With him and RJ Harvey, I think that's going to be a nice little tandem too. Yeah, I do like the Akeem Mesidor for the Chargers, and I do like what they did because they got a lot of offensive lineman help. They need it, especially in that interior. You got your bookends. They just got to stay healthy. And Rashawn Slater can just stay healthy. They can be one of the better tackles in this league. It's really their guard position that they got to fix, and I think they did try to fix that in this draft. So,
they didn't draft a physician, so we'll see.
Go get Dr. Chow. Get Dr. Chow up in there. Man. Now my losers is the Jags because I ain't like none of the Jags did. I know they didn't have a lot of picks. I wasn't feeling their draft. I don't know nobody on that list.
I'm not really a fan of it either. Like I'm not a fan of the Jags either. They didn't have a lot. I don't even think they even had a first round pick.
They did.
So
because they traded all them picks for your boy.
Oh yeah, Travis Hunter. Yeah. It's gonna be really on him. Yeah, I wasn't a fan. I agree with you with Jacksonville.
I wasn't a fan, and I'm with you. I wasn't a fan of the Rams draft.
That shit was terrible.
Ty Simpson.
That shit was terrible.
13. If you're gonna I don't think nobody was gonna draft Ty Simpson.
No one was drafting Ty Simpson in the first round. You could have traded back up with the limited amount of picks you already have. Why are you wasting a 13 overall pick on a person that's not going to play for the next 2, maybe 3 years? Yeah. When you're going all in, you have literally told your team you're going all in. That's why we traded Trent McDuffie. That's why we were trying to trade for AJ Brown. That's why we're doing all these moves. When you could have got a Ruben Bain to make that defensive line even crazier.
Yeah.
You could have got a Mekhi Lemon. You could have got a Kenyon Sadiq to do anything. Hell, I would understand Caleb Banks. I would understand Akeem Elizor. I would understand Dylan Thieneman to help that defense. But like, what are you doing? You wasted a pick on Ty Simpson, and you're going to try to parade Sean McVay around after that infamous press conference he had the same night they picked him, and he looked fucking irritated beyond means, and you're going to try to parade him around trying to be like, oh, you know, I was just doing that. Just like, nah, no one's falling for that dumb stuff, man. Come on, what are we talking about? That Rams draft was bona fide ass.
But I didn't like this second pick either.
They had limited picks. Well, how many picks did they have? They only had what? How many did they have? Let me look. They had 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 5 picks. Like, why are you wasting the 5 picks that you have? The number one pick you have, 13th overall, that you got in a trade. You decide to use that on fucking Ty Simpson? My question to you, Chris, is let's say Ty Simpson does get drafted. Who cares? You trying to tell me there's not going to be another Ty Simpson in the draft next year or the year after or the year after that? It's not like you're losing out on Peyton Manning. It's not like you're losing out on Andrew Luck. It's fucking Ty Simpson, who's compared to Brock Purdy, who was the last pick in the draft when he was drafted. What are we talking about? What are you missing? There's going to be like 3 or 4 Ty Simpsons next year.
I agree. But,
what are we doing?
But that second pick, Max Clare, I didn't understand that. I like Max Clare, but you just drafted Ferguson last year, who looked good. You got Tigby, you got Kobe Parkson on the squad,
bruh.
Like, what do you need another? You gonna play 4 tight ends?
Right. Then you want to draft the wide receiver CJ Daniels, which is cool, but you could have got Mekhi Lemon. If you were going to get a receiver, just get Mekhi. You had the opportunity. The op was there.
I want to see something.
Like, what are we doing? This Rams, like, I get it. They're always going to be viewed as this smart organization because of Sean McVay. But I'm sorry. This draft was beyond terrible for Rams fans. Beyond terrible for this team. And I don't care what you feel like. Matthew Stafford got to feel a particular type of way, dog. I'm sorry. I don't care if you did call him. He got to feel a particular type of way. I'm Matthew Stafford. I'm giving my body on the line every year to get us to win a championship. We were, one play away from making, the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
And you could have got me Mekhi Lemon, who could have been a great beneficial factor with Devontae Adams getting older, Puka Nacua, who's going through his things. We assume he'll be ready to play, but we all know the elite capabilities he has. And you could have had that as a threesome to go along with your backfield. Like, Matthew Stafford would have had a better year next year. Or you could have solidified your defense and got Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain to pair up with Byron Young and Jared Verse. Like, that would have been a lethal defensive line. But you give me Ty Simpson, who finished his year off being ass? What? Who couldn't finish a game? Come on, dog. I'm getting mad and I'm not even a Reds fan. You wasted a pick, dog. If I'm a player on that team, I'm like, bro, I don't want to see this mother. Don't even give me a locker room next to this motherfucker. I'm gonna look at this dude crazy. What benefit do you get out of this? You're not missing anything with Ty Simpson, even if you don't get him. There's gonna be like 4 or 5 of the motherfuckers next year and the year after that, and then the year after that. You're not gonna miss it. He's not like some transcender change type guy. You let Dan Orlovsky talk to you into Ty Simpson. Mm-hmm. That's what this looks like. Mm-hmm. And like, come on, man. And for Ty Simpson, I think this is great for him because you're gonna pair it with Sean McVay, who's a great offensive mind. You get to sit back next to a Hall of Fame quarterback and Matthew Stafford. It's not really against him. It's just the Rams. Like, you put this kid in a bad situation. Honestly, I really believe.
Yeah.
I don't think it benefits him. Not could be wrong. He could show me wrong, but I don't know.
I wasn't a fan of the 49ers draft either.
I wasn't a fan of the Niners draft. I wasn't a fan of the Vikings, the Saints, the Cardinals. I like Jeremiah Love, but again, like you have a loaded backfield. You have so many other things that you could have did. And I get it. You're trying to get a transcendent player, but you're just gonna waste. What are you gonna waste Jeremiah Love carries on this year? Like, you know what I mean? Like what are we doing? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, I don't know. But shout out to the Rams for selecting Todd Simpson.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah. But all in all, I felt like most teams had a pretty solid draft. Outside of those few teams that we mentioned.
Yeah.
I thought the Bills had a pretty good draft themselves.
Yeah, quietly they did. I'm not even mad at what they did.
Yeah, they had a nice little draft. I really wanted TJ Parker, but
you were pretty mad about that.
But I got over it. You know what I'm saying? I like the corner from Ohio State, Davidson. I like him. Skylar Bell, wide receiver of the UConn. That's pretty good. The linebacker they got too, Jalen Kilgore. He was somebody that I like. Zane Durant, defensive end out of Penn State, and then Torino Pride Jr., cornerback out of Mizzou. That was a good one right there for them. So I like their draft. I do. I think they got better. I like Chicago's draft too.
Chicago draft was cool.
Chicago draft was cool. Malik Muhammad, cornerback out of Texas. That was good to get him in the 4th round.
And you know what? I'm not even mad at the Falcons draft. I'm really not.
They actually had a good draft.
I'm not even mad. You get the two brothers who are very familiar. We know what athletic ability they are. I know people are kind of clowning on how short Avion looked next to Matt Ryan, but we all know what he can do. Zachary Branch, I know he went through what he went through, but he's still an elite receiver as far as like what he's capable of doing. And stickily, I like the Harold Perkins Jr. pick at linebacker. I do. I'm not even mad at that. You know what I mean? So, I low key like what the Falcons did. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of questions on that quarterback side, but they got next year to handle that. It's going to be a big year for those teams. But shout out to Pittsburgh, man. They showed out. Yeah. I don't know if they broke the record or anything like that, but shout out. I thought it was a cool thing. I don't know what the gentleman was. I think he went to the Navy or something. He got picked by the Steelers and stuff like that, and they did some cool things with him. I thought that was pretty fire on day 3. So
I like some of the stuff that I like some of the picks from Baltimore too. They got the guard to probably replace your boy that you guys picked up. Getting Zion Young to add to that defensive line.
Jacoby Lane, Elijah Sarrat, they got some pieces on there. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad. You know what I mean? You got the offensive line guard, very athletic, and Leone. I thought that was really smooth. I heard some good things about Chandler Rivers too, the cornerback from Duke. Heard some good things about him too. So shout out to him.
I really didn't care for the Broncos draft.
Broncos didn't do nothing for me. Honestly, bro, out of AFC West, I think me and you had the best drafts.
I agree.
I'll put the Raiders 1, Chiefs 2.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably put the Chargers 3 and then the Broncos 4. That's just me.
No, I agree.
No, I just think that with I think the AFC West is going to be very, very interesting next year.
It is.
I think it's going to be very, very interesting next year.
I actually like what the Dolphins did.
I'm not mad. I think them getting you get Kate, like look, let me pull them up. You got Caden Proctor. I like that. Offensive tackle. You're going to need help with that, especially with Malik Willis. You add Chris Johnson from San Diego State. I like that. Jacob Rodriguez, who I think is one of the better linebackers here. Caleb Douglas, he ain't bad at all. Trey Moore, I'm not mad at that. Kyle Lewis, I'm not mad at that. I'm not familiar with Kevin Coleman Jr. I'm not.
No, he's good. And then kick return, that's where he's going to be good at.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm not mad.
Chris Bell could be a steal he tore his ACL last year, but before he tore his ACL, he was really good.
Yeah.
Chris Bell could be a really good wide receiver for them. I wouldn't be surprised if we look up a couple of years from now and Chris Bell is one of their better wide receivers. So
no, for sure. It just seems like this draft, it seemed like all the teams who are normally known for making dumb decisions made smart decisions. And the teams you expect that would make smart decisions made dumb decisions. That's what it looked like to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of overall vibe it gave me. And it's just, it could be the changing of the guard. Like those teams that have been the laughingstock of the league the last 20 years, you know, maybe they could be the next 20 years, they may be looked at as, you know, the cornerstone franchises that should be looked upon as, you know, maybe you should run your franchise like that. You know, it could be.
Are there any UDFAs that your team picked up that you like?
Yeah, like I think we picked up Ramon Hamby. I was pretty excited about that. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, we got Ramon Hamby. We got EJ Williams from Indiana. I like that. Chase Roberts from BYU. I'm not mad. The kicker, the Hawaiian kicker. I like that. What else did we get? I like Gary Smith from UCLA. I'm not mad at that. And then we also got like Sawyer Robinson, Baylor quarterback. We got Missouri State quarterback, but we all know those guys are just kind of just there to be there. So
yeah, for sure.
What about you?
Yeah, I like the Jaden Ott kid, the running back who he played for Oklahoma last year, so he has familiarity with DeMarco Murray being his running back coach. It was kind of weird. He didn't have the greatest season with Oklahoma last year, but his cow tape, he's one of the most athletic running backs out there. And he tests really good. He had a really good Senior Bowl, so we know that he still got that ability. So I like that. We picked up Emmitt Smith's son, EJ Smith. He played for Texas A&M. He was okay in college, but we'll see what we got in him. Jeff Caldwell's other sense, because we drafted Cyrus Allen, Cincinnati wide receiver, and then we got the other guy from Cincinnati, Jeff Caldwell. He didn't have big numbers, but the upside is there. Big 6'5", ran a 4.3 in the combine, so and it shows up on film too. So, who else? Oh, we also got former UNLV. He went to Cal, but Jacob De Jesus. We all know that he's a good kickoff punt returner. He's actually a really solid wide receiver too. He had 1,000 yards for Cal last year. Yeah, man, I'm happy to pick him up too. So
yeah, we invited Dejon Reynolds from UNLV. I don't know if he accepted though. And yeah, but yeah, I need that Tokyo Toe guy. I need him to make the team. I need Tokyo Toe to make the team.
Are you down with Carlson?
Bro, they got rid of Carlson. We got Matt Gay. We signed Matt Gay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they ain't getting rid of him. So I need the Tokyo Toe to make it. I need Tokyo Toe to make that shit.
Tokyo Toe.
Yeah, I need Tokyo Toe to make it. I need Tokyo Toe to make the team. That's gonna be my next big thing I'm watching. I need Tokyo Toe. Raiders, make sure Tokyo Toe make the squad. I need that. Tokyo Toe that shit will sell jerseys.
It would sell jerseys.
Hashitashi, bro.
Might make some Tokyo Toe t-shirts.
Nah, that should be fire, bro. I'll definitely give me a Tokyo Toe shirt. That ass.
All right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, man. That's it. We're gonna have more random news on Wednesday. Talk about these fights who I'm super excited about. And yeah.
Oh, as of I think right now, if you pick up any of these free agents, they don't cost against your compensatory picks next season. So are there any free agents out there that you're interested in that you're ready to pick up?
Obviously I still think we need a veteran wide receiver, so hopefully we can get like a Juwan Jennings, Stephon Diggs. I think with the Tyree Wilson trade, it did free up some cap space, so I think after we sign all of our draftees, I think we would have about like 9 to 10 million left, so maybe that could be good for like a 1-year deal for either Juwan Jennings or Stephon Diggs. Those are the two guys I would really want on this team for actual veteran leadership. That I would love for them to be on the Raiders. So that would be something I would look at. I think we're definitely going to sign a veteran receiver for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll get a veteran defensive end, Cam Jordan, somebody like that to come in. I think that's the consensus that Cam Jordan is going to be the one to come in to be the veteran defensive end. And I'm not mad at that. I know he's older, but he had 10 sacks last year. He would have led our team sacks last year.
Yeah.
He's still productive, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at bringing in Cam Jordan in. And I wouldn't be surprised if we bring the veteran wide receiver too. Maybe Tyreek Hill. I'm saying
That's who I think y'all gonna end up eventually.
There's rumors of Stephon Diggs. I don't know how true that is.
That's not. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be Tyreek. It's gonna be Tyreek Hill. I just think that it's gonna be interesting once we get to June 1st with these trades. Like, could we potentially see a George Pickens trade? Could we? Obviously, the AJ Brown trade is kind of like already formalized in the sense, like, but could somebody swoop in on the Patriots and maybe potentially grab AJ Brown away from the Patriots? I think that'd be something to watch. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if my Raiders maybe get involved in that situation. You know what I mean? So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if we don't sign one of those free agents that are available now, I personally would not be surprised if we traded for a top tier receiver. I wouldn't be surprised if we traded like George Pickens for George Pickens or something. That could be something to look at.
Patriots are expected to trade a 2028 first round pick to the Eagles when they do make a move
for AJ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at that. I just think that,
yeah,
it's a good move for the Patriots. Like, you do need a legit number one receiver, and we all know how Drake May is with the D ball. Could there be better options for AJ Brown? I don't know. Maybe the Patriots might be the best option for him. But I think there should be more teams going after him, though, if it's like this. You know what I mean? I don't know why it's just a sealed deal, sign and done delivery that he's going to the Patriots. Like, could the Bills, could the Ravens, could the Commanders, could the Niners? No, not the Niners, but some other team, come in and jump in on that situation. I don't know. It's a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. All right, player. Quick thoughts. What's your thoughts on the Brandon Sorsby thing? You hear about that?
Oh, like he went into rehab or something, right? For gambling or something like that. I'll say this. I think commend to him for acknowledging a behavior that was just not going to suffice from him being in the position that he's going to be in. Hopefully he gets the proper care. Hopefully he can mentally get through this. We all know gambling could be an addictive behavior, just like drinking, drug use, or anything like that. So I commend him for acknowledging it and for him seeking out the help that he can get. So I'm always going to applaud people who acknowledge their faults and what they need help on. So I'm not going to condemn him on any kind of aspect. I hope the brother makes it through the rehab process and he becomes a better man and a better college athlete and a better quarterback, better teammate.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I hope he gets all the help he needs because he's a talented young man. Hopefully he can get back, what I'm saying? If it's not this season, maybe he comes back the following season.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Not for sure.
All right, player, who gets your flowers of the week?
So my flowers of the week go to Klay Thompson. There you go. He gets my flowers of the week. I just think the fact of that, how females thought that he was like this cornball dude who couldn't get no play, and that Meg Thee Stallion was the best thing that ever happened in his life. Like, look, I'm not condoning cheating. Again, we don't even know the real true story about the whole situation because we all know some of the stories with Megan Thee Stallion and how sometimes she can falsificate certain things in a sense. But at the end of the day, like, I think Klay Thompson was underestimated in who he was as a man. I don't condone cheating, but hey, man, he got hoes on deck. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah, for sure. I want to give my flowers to Allison Felix. She is a decorated track and field star. She's 40 years old right now, but she says she is coming out of retirement to be in the Olympic Games in 2028. So she's going to come in and try. She specialized in the 200 meters. So shout out to her, man, for, trying to, come back, and do this awesome feat, because being an Olympic track star isn't easy, player.
Okay. You got a little bit of breaking news.
What's that?
It's not breaking news, but Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson are in preliminary talks right now. Her Mike Coppinger.
I'm trying to hit that shit. My other flowers go to Bobby Witt Jr.
Oh, word?
Finally, Ma.
Y'all got some good news over there?
The drought is over, baby. My man hit a home run yesterday, man. We came back down 6-0. We won 10-8.
So y'all starting a new win streak.
Jack Caggs, you know what I'm saying? Hit a homie. We look like a team this past series against the Angels. Finally getting back on the winning track. And we look like the team that we're supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta keep it going now. Gotta keep it going. Mm-hmm. That's who gets my flowers.
For sure.
All right, who gets your hell now?
My hell no of the week goes to Klay Thompson. Why are you cheating on? Come on, dog. Come on, man.
I get the flowers and the hell no.
Hey, man, so what's the lifetime thing, my brother? Like, come on, man.
We don't even know the full story, dog.
We don't know the full story, but if true, like, come on, man. She was cooking your pops dinner. She was cooking your dinner. She got, like, she fine as hell. I get it. Megan Thee Stallion coming with some bags. Bro, what we on, bro? Come on, man. Not grass ain't always greener on the other side. You know what I mean? It's just not always greener, man. So he get the hell nah. Also,
that's funny. That is funny. My man got both. Jeez.
Hey man, say certain situations happen that way, man.
My hell no goes to you know who.
Who?
The guy who can get it every week. That shit looks staged.
I got no comment, sir. I got no comment.
Yeah, I let a school teacher come in with a long ass gun to the White House. Yeah. All right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my man is the equalizer, and he came in there stealth as a mug at a White House party. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy. You get your goddamn ugly ass on.
Oh, boy. The first round of the 2026 NFL Draft delivered 13.2 million across ESPN platforms, generating the third most watched day one of the draft ever. Think they break that record next year?
It's gonna be what? Where's it gonna be at next year? DC?
Washington, DC. Chocolate City.
I don't know, man. It just depends if your boy gets involved in it a lot. If he does, then no.
Who?
Your boy. The one you just talked about.
Oh, Trump.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know he don't get involved. He might be. Look, it might not be Roger Goodell. It might be Trump up there talking about.
Yeah, nah. We gonna respectfully say, nah, we're good. We're good. And that's crazy though. It sucks. I hate to say it, but it sucks that one of the biggest drafts is gonna have to be there. But again, it's one of the bigger drafts. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they break the record, especially with how big that draft is next year. Arch Manning potentially coming out, Jeremiah Smith, all those quarterbacks, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they break the record.
Yeah. For sure. Well, all right, good people. If you want to donate to the Cris Style Mal Podcast, you can donate to Cris Mal Podcast. We'll appreciate whatever you want to donate to us. If you have whatever streaming platform you use to listen to our podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, we're available on there. Go ahead and check us out there. First time watchers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesdays 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you could jump in the live with us. You could talk about these topics. We want to hear from you. Whether you agree with us, disagree with us, we want to hear from you, man. Jump in the live, talk to us. We'll interact right back with you. If you're listening on the playback, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. We will answer you back. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be X, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you use. We're available at Cris Style Mal. Follow us, we'll follow you back. We're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. Also, if you have a critique or feedback, or if you have a question or topic, and we like said question or topic, we will bring it up. We will shout you out because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mentions. All right, good people. Until Wednesday, hope you guys have a good couple days. We will be back to talk some more NBA, NFL, boxing, Mal's random news. The second half of it, he will bring up some more topics, and any other thing that comes up in the ticker. You know what I'm saying? In the docket, we will talk about it, especially sports wise. So until Wednesday, we are out.
Adios.